Chapter 489. Yihua took a look at Qingya's stomach. She is going to give birth in another 4 to 5 months, right? Continue. Donghuang Baiji shouted out lightly, emitting out the aura that an empress should have. Seeing Donghuang Baiji like this made Yihua feel very comfortable, and he felt a sense of accomplishment. Do you see this? This is my woman. Every word and action of hers is emitting out strong confidence. And only when I am pressing her down would she reveal the appearance of a little woman. Yuanda said, Your Majesty, those families in the south collectively raised a protest. They hope that... Hope what? Donghuang Baiji asked coldly. They hope that Your Majesty can also share some of the fruits with them. Yuanda lowered his head and said. Donghuang Baiji's expression sunk. Back then, when I went to save the south together with Qingya, those people were extremely respectful towards me. But now, when they heard that there was a good thing in the south, they completely forgot who it was that saved them back then. And they even dare to say that I am hiding something. This is so infuriating. Yihua sat at the side and did not say anything. Now you all know, it is useless to be nice to them. They will only fear evil, and not the kind empress. What did Ying family do? Ying family did not express any opinion. What is the exact situation in the north? Did you find any clues? Donghuang Baiji asked gravely. Xinghan cupped his hands and said, Your Majesty, other than the aristocratic families, all of the families in the north expressed their protest. They also want the longevity fruit, and they even said that Your Majesty colluded with the aristocratic families to lie to them for a long time. Donghuang Baiji slammed onto the armrest of the chair. These people are truly blinded by greed, to actually say that I lied to them. Did you find the murderer of Guan family? Donghuang Baiji asked coldly. Everyone below shook their heads. There were no clues at all. What is blood pool forbidden technique? Just as everyone remained silent, Yihua asked this question faintly. Other than Qingya, everyone's gaze became serious, and their expressions immediately became grave. Yihua, did you find out anything? Donghuang Baiji asked. The reason why Guan family was exterminated was because of blood pool forbidden technique, and the matter regarding voidless realm was purely an innocent bystander. Tell me, what is this blood pool forbidden technique? Replying to Lord Yi, this blood pool forbidden technique is also just a legend. Yihua laughed lightly. I like legends. Yuanda continued. Rumor has it that in ancient times, there was a cruel member of the blood tribe who refined his clansmen one by one in order to increase his strength and bring disaster to the world. However, he was still sealed in the end. It is said that the seal can be broken with the purest blood of the blood tribe. After hearing that, Yihua became very interested. They are the same kind of people. Yihua, how did you know about this? Qingya asked curiously. One of my subordinates discovered this information. This is a group of masked men in black. They released the news of the longevity fruit just to attract attention. Hearing that, Donghuang Baiji's brows wrinkled. From the looks of it, this group of people is very strong. They were able to exterminate the entire Guan family. It's all right. But why is there a blood clot in the Guan family? Baiji, have you ever considered this problem? Yihua said faintly. Donghuang Baiji shook her head. She was not clear about this matter at all. Yihua continued. That blood clot should be the item that was sealed. If we gather the blood clot and use the purest blood, we might really be able to undo the seal and release that blood tribe that you all are talking about. That would be a disaster. Yuanda let out a long sigh. Would it be a disaster? To Yihua, this was a very interesting matter. I really want to see just what kind of a cruel blood tribe is like. The most important thing right now is to solve the problem of Voidless Realm's reputation. Yihua said. Donghuang Baiji said in a low voice. This isn't a problem of our Voidless Realm's reputation. It's just that they want the longevity fruit too much. Give it to them then. Yihua said faintly. What's the point of hiding a longevity fruit? Donghuang Baiji. If you all continue on like this, it will only make the matter even more complicated. A good thing like the longevity fruit is something that even humans would covet, let alone a longevity fruit. You all can just hold a martial arts competition and have each family send out a person to fight. Afterward, we can just distribute the fruits reasonably. Yi Hua's words caused the eyes of everyone present to light up. This is indeed a good idea. As expected of the Empress's husband. Not only is he strong, but he also has a good brain. The Empress is truly fortunate to be able to find such a husband. This idea is feasible. Qingye agreed to her husband's suggestion. Donghuang Baiji nodded her head. Let us discuss about the details then. Yi Hua stood up and said faintly, You all can discuss about it, I will be going back first. Empress, remember to come back home today. After finished speaking, Yi Hua disappeared. A layer of redness appeared on Donghuang Baiji's beautiful face. This Yi Hua actually dared to take liberties with me in front of so many people. Watch how I am going to take care of you tonight. I won't let you stop for even a second. After returning back to Leisure Bar, Yi Hua walked to Qing Yutong's room to see how Brett was doing. However, where did that person hit me? This was Brett's question. At the top of that mountain, didn't you see it? Qing Yutong shouted out. Bastard! To actually sneak attack me, there isn't a single good man in this world. Brett said angrily while shaking his teeth. That's right, all men are bastards, let's go for the next round. Yi Hua was truly helpless. This Brett is actually playing a game with Qing Yutong. Did his emotional injury heal so quickly? In just a blink of an eye, he became lively again. Cough. Yi Hua called out to remind the two women that no man wanted. Qing Yutong and Brett turned their heads around to take a look, then immediately shrunk back and continued playing their game. However, looking at Brett's current state, Yi Hua slightly let out a breath of relief. At least, it is better than that kind of situation where you want to die. However, Brett's current state made Yi Hua feel that he wasn't letting go of Brett at all, and was instead pretending to let go of Brett. One day Brett will still explode. Let's hope that absolute heaven will be able to give Brett a good ending. Returning back to the office, Yi Hua turned on the television and looked at Detective Conan while supporting his chin with his hand. Speaking of which, no matter where this fellow goes on the television, people will die. He must have been cursed by death before. Blood pool forbidden technique, purest blood. Somewhat interesting. After who knows how long, the Empress's voice rang out from behind Yi Hua. Yi Hua took a look, then patted on his thigh. Donghuang Baiji rolled her eyes at her husband, then sat on Yi Hua's lap. Very naturally, Donghuang Baiji lied on Yi Hua's embrace and felt that powerful heartbeat. Baiji, your outfit today looks very good. Is that so? Donghuang Baiji asked shyly. It is very rare for Yi Hua to praise someone. Yi Hua lifted up the Empress's chin and said indifferently, I still want to look at it. Since her husband had a request, the Empress naturally had to satisfy his request. The moment she stood in front of Yi Hua, she immediately transformed. Meanwhile, Yi Hua transformed into a wolf and pounced over. Yi Hua, it isn't night yet, the way you are right now, I am unable to wait anymore. Chapter 490. When the morning sunlight shone into the room through the window, Yi Hua felt that the beauty beside him had already left. A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. This Empress sure is a workaholic. She only slept for a few hours and she went back to sleep. Sitting up, Yi Hua stretched his neck. In actuality, the days when I have a wife are much better. I don't know how I spent my days in the past. After putting on his clothes, Yi Hua called Wei Chong over. Subordinate pays respect to your honor. Wei Chong half-kneeled respectfully, while Yi Hua stood by the window and smoked while staring at the hot pot restaurant. Yi Hua asked lightly, Have you heard of blood pool forbidden technique in purest blood? Wei Chong said in a low voice, Your honor, subordinate has never heard of the blood pool forbidden technique before, but I have heard LV Liang mention this purest blood before. Oh, what happened? Yi Hua asked curiously. It's the bar next door. Aren't the two proprietors bloodlings? I heard from LV Shu that they possess the purest blood. Yi Hua laughed. So, the key to unlocking the seal was right beside me, and I actually didn't know about it. This purest blood is related to the opening of the blood pool forbidden technique. Your honor, do you mean to destroy the purest blood? Wei Chong asked gravely. Yi Hua shook his head and lightly sucked in a mouthful of air. No, we are going to help them open up the seal, because I, the Supreme Overlord, really want to see that demon. This subordinate understands. Let's leave this matter to the green and red brothers. Also, let Yi-hong get some credit for this matter. After all, Zishan had already come to look for me once. Even now, Yihua could still remember that day when Zishan came to look for him. Zishan's hesitant look on her face, as if she couldn't say what she wanted to say. When Zishan first came here, she was extremely unwilling. And now, she even came here to beg me to give Yi-hong a chance. I really didn't expect this. Subordinate understands. In that case, subordinate will go over and convey his honor's orders right now. Go. After Wei Chang left, Yihua extinguished the cigarette butt and prepared to go out to buy breakfast. Of course, it was still that Chinese jianbing. Give me a serving of fruit jianbing. Yihua looked at the aunt and said faintly. The middle-aged woman nodded and began to do it. Yihua felt that there was something wrong with the auntie today. In the past, she would always like to tease me, but today she is actually not speaking. Did the sun rise from the west today? Yihua took the Chinese jianbing that the auntie handed over to him. And the auntie seemed to have a lot on her mind. You don't want money anymore? Yihua asked faintly. Ah, didn't you just give it to me? Yihua took out his phone, scanned the WeChat that was at the side, then showed it to the aunt. Look carefully, I have counted the money. The auntie nodded with a sorrowful look on her face. Yihua took a look, wrinkled his brows, then walked back to leisure bar. Everyone has their own troubles. This sovereign has one as well. Right at this moment, Wei Chang arrived at Yi-hong's villa. After passing down his honor's order to Yi-hong, Zishan, who was at the side, was immediately overjoyed. His honor finally gave Yi-hong a mission. You have nothing to say now, right? Meets your criteria for success. Yi-hong was very excited and shouted out excitedly. Subordinate will definitely complete the mission that his honor has given me. Big Brother Green seemed a bit heavy, but he still said, this subordinate will properly complete the mission. Remember, don't expose yourself, Wei Chang warned before disappearing from the villa. Yi-hong happily hugged onto Zishan and spun around. His honor finally gave me a mission. Zishan gave a sweet kiss to Zishan. Don't disappoint his honor's expectations. That's for sure. I guarantee that I will complete the mission beautifully. Yi-hong patted on his chest and promised. That's more like it. I will make breakfast for you too. Zishan smiled gently, then walked into the kitchen after putting on her apron. Yi-hong was already bursting with happiness. Zishan, you have worked hard. Zishan, who was in the kitchen, clenched her fist and cheered for her husband. You can do it. My Zishan is so cute. I am so happy. Big brother, we can go on a mission together. Why are you frowning? Yi-hong hugged onto his big brother's shoulder and said excitedly. During these few days, LV Liang would often be together with the blood race sisters, and they had developed a bit of feelings for each other. Although there wasn't any substantial progress, after hearing his honor's request, LV Liang felt a bit uncomfortable in his heart. This request isn't directed towards his honor. It is directed towards the blood race sisters. I promised them that I will protect their purest blood, but right now, I still have to give it away. LV Liang was in despair. How did this happen? If I had known earlier, I would have acknowledged their identities, and his honor wouldn't have done this. My God. What am I thinking? It can't be that I fell in love with two vampires, right? Definitely not. This is just a kind of sympathy. That's right. It's sympathy. Big brother. Big brother. Yi-hong shook his big brother, who had a strange expression on his face. What does this mean? LV Liang came back to his senses. What is it? Aren't you on good terms with the blood race sisters? I will leave the matter of collecting the purest blood to you. Yi-hong had a naughty smile on his face, and had a look that said, you should understand, on his face. Collect? How do I collect it? Suck it with my mouth. LV Liang raised his hand and slapped onto Yi-hong's face. At this moment, Zishan, who was in the kitchen, shouted out, Big brother, if you hit my husband again, in the future, you won't have a share in my cooking anymore. Yi-hong sighed. In this world, only having a wife is good. Yi-hong said in a low voice, Big brother, if you don't go and suck it, do you want me to suck it for you? Right now, I am a man with a family. Furthermore, the blood race sisters like you. What's wrong with letting you suck a few mouthfuls of blood? LV Liang rubbed his temple in annoyance, then said, let me ask about the situation first. And I will wait for Big Brother's good news. Right after LV Liang finished speaking, LV Liang disappeared from the kitchen. At this moment, Zishan walked out of the kitchen with a bowl of noodles. Where is Big Brother? He went to suck the blood. Why didn't you tell me earlier? I have already made an extra bowl. It would be a pity to throw it away. Husband, you should eat it all. Looking at that big bowl of noodles, Yihong smiled apologetically. Wife, I can't finish eating that much. Even if you can't finish it, you still have to let me eat it. Who asked you to lose money gambling? I will have to eat dirt if I follow you. Zishan said in annoyance and rolled her eyes at Yihong. Zishan's words were a bit of a blow to Yihong. I don't have the ability to make a good girl like Zishan suffer with me. Looking at the noodles that Zishan made, Yihong felt that he didn't even have the qualifications to eat it. And when Zishan saw that her husband's expression changed, she knew that her unintentional words just now had hurt him, so she hurriedly explained, Yihong, I didn't mean it that way. Zishan, you can be at ease, I will become your ideal man. With his fastest speed, Yihong finished eating the noodles, then walked out of the house to look for clues. Zishan lightly let out a breath. Just now, I had unintentionally hurt Yihong. Chapter 491. Therefore Yihong had always wanted to prove that he was worthy of Zishan. This was the dignity of a man. However, Zishan didn't think that way. What she said just now was just a joke. If she said it too quickly, she wouldn't even be able to stop herself. Actually, Zishan's thoughts were very simple. She just wanted her family of 3 to live together peacefully. To Zishan, who had lived for a few thousand years, what she wanted the most right now was to have a child. She wanted to have a child more and more, especially when she saw other women bringing their children out and dressing up their children beautifully. Zishan would be endlessly envious. If only she could have a child like that. But Yihong did not want to give him a child. He felt so dizzy. It was completely useless for Yihong to go out to look for clues like this. In fact, Yihong mainly wanted to go out to get some fresh air. Meanwhile, LV Shu went to the 7 bar. I'm here for your lady boss, LV Liang said to the tall and strong foreigner with a sullen face. Everyone knew that this man was the lady boss's pet boy. At this time, LV Shu stood at the door of the bedroom, thinking about her words. How should she tell them later? Why did he have to think so clearly? Was he afraid that they would be sad? Then why was he afraid that they would be sad? Could it be that he had fallen in love with them? If he had fallen in love with 2 vampires, it wasn't a matter of being cuckolded or not. It was a matter of being sucked to death. Creak, creak, creak. The door opened automatically, which startled Lulu. She hadn't thought of what to say yet. He could only walk in helplessly and look at the big bed. 2 beauties were lying on the pink bed with their long legs exposed. The elder sister, Serena, was more reserved, while the younger sister, Serena, bit her index finger with her beautiful eyes. LV Liang took a deep breath. Basically, she had to withstand this kind of temptation every day to not be sucked by them. I have a little matter to talk to you guys about today, LV Liang said hesitantly as she sat on the sofa at the side. Serena said coquettishly, don't say it's something. My sister and I can help you with anything. As she spoke, Celine's consciousness floated over from the bed. Yes, that's right. It was fluttering. People would definitely think it was a ghost if they saw it at night. His elder sister, Serena, was much better. She got off the bed and asked, you don't look too good today. What's wrong? I said, don't be angry. After LV Shu finished speaking, she felt that there was something wrong with her words. Why was she afraid that they would be angry? Was there something wrong with her brain? However, when the 2 sisters heard LV Shu's words, they both laughed and held LV Shu's arm. This made LV Shu feel like coughing up blood, and she became respectful. They were wearing low-cut pajamas, which were too eye-catching and too soft. No matter what you do, my sister and I won't be angry, Celine said softly as she leaned on LV Liang's shoulder. Yes, Serena replied obediently. Big Brother Green was simply a winner in life. There were twins who looked exactly the same, but Big Brother Green was the only one in the entire team. This meant one thing. Life could only be perfect if you were cuckolded. After perfection, there would be surprises. So don't panic if you were cuckolded. The twins were waiting for you. How do I extract your purest blood? LV Liang asked in a low voice, just like a little virgin. Well, actually, Big Brother Green was really an old virgin. He didn't even touch his girlfriend before he was cuckolded. Then he bragged in front of his underlings, saying that 3 horses came last night, and a group of horses came the night before yesterday. That was all fake. He only said that because he wanted to save face. After hearing this, the 2 sisters blushed and leaned on LV Shu's chest. The older sister, Celine, blushed and said coquettishly, "You can extract it however you want." Wrong, wrong, wrong. That's not what I meant. What I meant was, how did you get it? LV Shu, what do you want the purest blood for? Celine asked curiously. LV Shu said in a deep voice, for the forbidden blood pool technique. Obviously, the 2 sisters had heard of this rumor. Their originally shy faces suddenly changed, and then they looked at LV Shu with vigilance. For some reason, when LV Shu saw their eyes, he felt a stabbing pain in his heart. You approached us for the forbidden blood pool technique, Celine shouted. She was very surprised how LV Shu knew about it. Listen to my explanation. The 2 sisters shouted at the same time. Not listening, not listening, not listening. It's really not what you think. Not listening, not listening, not listening. LV Liang was also angry. Why was this woman so annoying? He wrapped his arms around her. Listen to me. If I want to, I can easily obtain it. What I mean is there any other way to obtain the purest blood? LV Shu shouted in a deep voice. No. Even if you are our benefactor, we will not let you release the demon. The 2 sisters were very firm in their choice. LV Shu really did not know what to do. He shouted, "This is the request of my boss. Do you know why? It's because he wants to help you eliminate the demon." After hearing this, the Blood Clan sisters were shocked, and their expressions showed that this was really the case. Think about it. Being sealed means that there is still a chance for him to come out. If my boss's boss destroys him, wouldn't this threat be eliminated? After hearing this, the 2 sisters nodded. These words were very particular. Look at your faces. You don't believe me. It hurts me so much. LV Shu was very angry. He coldly snorted, unable to appease them. The 2 sisters knew that they had misunderstood. The big sister, Serena, stood at the back and massaged LV Shu, while the little sister, Serena, grabbed onto LV Shu's arm and acted coquettishly. LV Shu felt that he had been appeased enough, so he calmed down and said, "Tell me, how are we going to obtain the blood? If we are going to use it, we can just use a syringe," Serena said tenderly, while the little sister, Serena, went to prepare the syringe. LV Shu held onto the syringe with his hand. My heart feels so sour. This is my first time, and I actually have to give myself a syringe. Should I poke the big sister or the little sister? Use mine. The little sister, Serena, said straightforwardly. In order to complete his honors mission, I, LV Shu, must complete it even if I have to clench my teeth. LV Shu could be seen picking up the syringe, and his gaze became firm. He had an expression that seemed as if he was going to do something big. His left hand slowly lifted up Serena's nightgown, and after swallowing his saliva, the syringe on his right hand gradually reached over. When the 2 sisters saw LV Shu's actions, they were all stupefied. Serena could be seen crying out in surprise, then immediately covered her nightgown. What are you doing? LV Shu was a bit flustered. I'm drawing blood, Serena said petulantly. If you want to draw blood, then go ahead and draw blood. Why are you lifting up the little sister's nightgown? Where else do you want to draw blood from? I want to draw blood from there? LV Shu's face immediately turned red. This is so awkward. The little sister, Serena, said angrily. Draw blood, you idiot. Chapter 492. The 2 sisters didn't believe her and said coquettishly, You baddie. LV Shu was helpless. In the end, the drawing of blood was still left to her sister. Her sister, Serena, was much better. Soon she drew a needle. After handing the blood to LV Shu, Serena said in a deep voice. Elvishu, don't lie to us. Don't worry. Elvishu won't lie to you. Elvishu stood up and promised. The two sisters nodded and were relieved. The younger sister, Serena, bit her lips and said shyly, Elvishu, when are you coming to draw blood next time? I mean that kind poo. Elvishu couldn't take it anymore and ran out of the bedroom. These two were really vampires. They were always thinking about their own blood. The two sisters in the bedroom were helpless. Sister, you scared Elvishu away again, Serena said gloomily. Serena pouted and said, I don't understand. Why is Elvishu so afraid of us? Isn't it because we are bloodlings? Serena was very disappointed. She thought Elvishu was disgusted by their identity. Serena didn't say anything. She was very depressed. Elvishu, who walked outside, immediately contacted his brother. The two decided to meet under the Yellow Flower Bridge. Under the Yellow Flower Bridge, a gust of wind blew, causing a green and a red cape to flutter. It was very funny. Brother, is this the purest blood? I don't think it's any different from chicken blood. Ihong looked at the glass needle and said in confusion. Elvishu raised his hand and slapped the back of his head. Idiot, all blood is the same. Pa. It broke. The green and red brothers were stunned. Elvishu shouted angrily. You can't even hold a needle properly. Don't you know it's hard for me to draw blood? Brother, if you didn't hit me just now, would I have broken it? Ihong was speechless. It's all your fault. Why are you still standing there? Go draw blood again. What else could Elvishu do? He could only run back. Elvishu, why did you come back? Have you thought it through? Serena said shyly. Elvishu was embarrassed. I came to draw blood. Stop it, my sister isn't here. If you draw my blood, she won't be happy. Serene tiptoed as if she wanted her sister to have her blood drawn together. No, I am just drawing blood, the blood from my arm. Elvi Liang forcefully explained. Serene's face fell. She quietly walked to the side and gave him another syringe. Then she snorted. After obtaining the purest blood once again, Elvi Tao felt that it was much more important to complete his honors mission first. The two brothers met again under the Yellow Flower Bridge. Elvishu decided not to give it to her underlings this time. It would be safer to hold it in her hands. Did you find him? Elvishu decided to deliver the goods to him. Ihong shook her head. No. Elvi Liang was speechless. I haven't even found the person. Who am I supposed to give the blood to? I don't know, Ihong replied. Elvi Liang was in despair. Ihong patted her brother's shoulder to comfort him. Bang. The two brothers looked at the broken syringe and were dumbfounded. Big brother, don't blame me. You're the one who didn't hold on. Ihong disappeared after she finished speaking. Big brother's expression didn't look right. Ihong. Just you wait. Elvi Liang let out a mournful roar. Furthermore, the location where the syringe was broken was more or less the same. Elvishu once again came to the door of the bar's bedroom. The door was opened quietly. Elvishu, why are you here again? Selena asked curiously. Serene could be seen sitting on the sofa sullenly. I came to draw my blood. This time I bought a plastic syringe, it won't break. Elvishu had just bought a plastic syringe with 1 renminbi, and the bar owner almost called the police. Serene snorted. And you still think that we are vampires? You are the one who is sucking our blood. When did I think that you two are disgusted? You can't speak irresponsibly. Elvishu refuted without even thinking. Serene snorted once again. Then why aren't you willing to touch us? It would be too hasty to say irresponsibly. After all, I am a proper man, Selena said. My sister and I are also proper women. We have never let other men hold our hands before. Elvishu felt that if he didn't shed 10% of his skin today, he would definitely not be able to get the 3rd syringe. Can we draw my blood first? We can talk about this later, how about it? The two sisters sat on the sofa together, and even their sitting posture was the same. They said at the same time, No. My little ancestors, can you not make a fuss? I will apologize to you after this. Elvishu wanted to grab onto his little brother and beat him up. Both times it was all because of him. If not, How could he possibly suffer such a wish crime? No. The two sisters snorted. I, LV Shu, am not convinced by anyone but the two of you. All right. What do you two want? Selena said shyly. Agree to two of our conditions. All right, you two speak. First, kiss us first. Serene snorted. If you don't kiss us, there won't be any blood. Do as you see fit. LV Shu was struggling in his heart. What if they suck my blood when I kiss them? Even if I want to suck my blood, I have no choice. After all, I am working for his honor. I cannot be careless. All right. Hearing that LV Shu agreed, the two sisters blushed a little. They thought that LV Shu would resist. Yi Hua came to the two sisters' side. Right now, the two sisters had their beautiful eyes closed. LV Shu's heartbeat quickened a bit. Soon after, he made up his mind. If I die, then I die. Yi Hua suddenly hugged onto his little sister, Selena, and kissed her. The feeling is not bad, sweet, fragrant. Suddenly, LV Shu opened his eyes wide. A small tongue is actually looking for my big tongue. Is it going to be sucked? This is so miserable. His honor. I am going to die. Quickly come and save me. After a long while, Selena let go of LV Shu. LV Shu felt a bit dizzy. I definitely sucked quite a lot of blood just now. What about me? Selena said shyly. LV Shu, who was dizzy, already lost all desire to live, and thus, he could only kiss Selena. Big sister Selena was still a lot more reserved. She only kissed Selena, that's all. After finishing this matter, LV Shu felt as if he was drunk. What is the other matter? Selena pulled onto her big sister, letting her big sister speak. Selena said, after this matter is over, you still have to come and draw your blood again. It's that kind of blood. Look, they are already addicted to it. They are planning to turn me into a blood donor. This is so miserable. Since things have come to this, I can only do this. All right, I promise you too. The two sisters were delighted, and they immediately drew their blood for LV Shu. Standing outside of the bar, LV Shu looked at how beautiful the sunlight outside was. When the sunlight shone on his body, it felt warm and comfortable. This time, LV Shu will properly store the tube of blood. I definitely can't break it again. Who knows what kind of excessive request they will make? If they want to do that to me, what should I do? Chapter 493. After contacting my little brother, I found out that this fellow actually didn't even go back to have lunch at noon, and is currently outside investigating. Are you afraid of the tigress at home? Poor little brother, marrying such a strong woman. LV Liang couldn't help but think of two vampires in her mind. In fact, they were quite gentle, not as strong as her sister-in-law. MD. What am I thinking? I can't believe such a terrifying thought popped up in my head. While carrying this horrifying thought, LV Liang returned to the villa, and he saw that Zishan was currently cooking lunch. Seeing that little brother was able to marry such a virtuous wife, LV Liang felt very happy for little brother. Big brother, you're back. Zishan turned her head around and greeted Zishan. Logically speaking, Zishan's age should be on the same level as LV Liang's ancestor. When in Rome, do as the Romans do. Her husband's big brother was her big brother. Zishan, it has really been hard on you. LV Shu also felt embarrassed. In the future, I will have to pay more living expenses to Zishan. Perhaps he would be able to move out soon and stop being a third wheel. CKMe. LV Liang. What the hell are you thinking? Why can't you get rid of this crazy idea in your mind? Are you really crazy? Who knew what kind of children they would give birth to if they were in the wrong race? That's not right. Su Xian even dared to do it with a snake, and she didn't give birth to any abnormalities. And what was that called again? It didn't even let off ghosts. Thinking of this, LV Shu felt a little better. Yihong didn't come back with you? Zishan looked around for a bit, but she didn't see that her husband had returned home. Yihong is still gathering information outside. LV Liang thought that her younger brother had told his wife. She didn't expect that he didn't say anything at all. This brat was quite tough. Wasn't he afraid that he would kneel on the keyboard tonight? Oh, Zishan answered. LV Liang could feel that her sister-in-law was very disappointed. Just a moment ago, Zishan was still very energetic when she was cooking, but now, she suddenly became listless. LV Liang walked towards Zishan and said with a smile, "Zishan, you go and take a rest, I'll do it." "Big brother, you've been busy for the whole morning. I have nothing to do at home. You should go rest. Look, this brat really doesn't know what's good for him. His wife is so virtuous, yet he doesn't even come home for dinner. Could it be that they quarreled? Then as the big brother I have to adjust. Zishan, I grew up with Yihong as well. I know his character very well," LV Liang described with a sorrowful tone. This caused Zishan's heart to feel very heavy. Her husband is definitely not living a good life. LV Liang felt that her sister-in-law's expression was on point, so she continued. "I remember that year, we played pea in mud. I peed he in the mud." Zishan. "However, when we grew up, we played house. He liked to call me daddy, and I called him son. He had a lot of fun." Zishan. "However, when he grew up, he recognized me as his big brother. I taught him how to perm his hair, and we became world-shaking." Zishan clenched her fists tightly. "So my Yihong was led astray by you." If Yihong knew that big brother was talking to his wife about this, his expression would definitely be very pleasant. "Zishan, I don't mean anything else by saying all these. Yihong has been very innocent since he was young. Everyone who knows him thinks that he is easy to bully." "That's right, they are right, he is indeed easy to bully. Big brother, have you ever considered your little brother's image when you say all these?" "But Zishan, let me tell you, that is not the case. Although Yihong is an honest man, he is still a man with dignity. He is also a good man who loves to help others. He often helps a goat cross the road." "Big brother, don't say any more, I beg you." LV Liang let out a deep sigh. Yihong has never known who his father is since he was young. 10,000 points of damage landed on Yihong's chest. Fortunately, Yihong wasn't here, if not, his chest would definitely explode. "I brought him up with a handful of shit and piss from his mother." When Zishan heard this sentence, "Why does it sound so weird?" Yihong had already fainted in the toilet. Looking at Zishan's confused gaze, LV Liang knew that he had misspoken. "His mother brought him up when he was inside, and I brought him up when he was outside," LV Liang explained in detail. "Big brother, can you please stop bringing him up? This little brother will kneel down in front of you. This child is quite lacking in self-confidence. The main reason is because of something that happened in elementary school. Big brother, are you trying to help me, or are you trying to harm me? There is no need to talk about that dark history." "What happened?" Zishan asked gravely. "Sai first love." Zishan's expression froze for a moment. "Yihong said that I am his first love." LV Liang was startled and hurriedly explained. "What Yihong said isn't wrong, because that was a first love that ended before it even started." Puff. Yihong had already vomited blood and died in the toilet. "Big brother, you are taking revenge on me. That love letter was written by me, but before Yihong was able to send it out, it was snatched away by a boy in class. Afterward, the boy ran to the rostrum and read the love letter out loud. From that time onwards, Yihong became autistic." "Really? It is my fortune that Yihong wasn't at the scene." LV Liang let out a long sigh and looked outside the window. From that time onwards, Yihong doesn't seem to be interested in women anymore. Zishan. I suspected that he was gay for a long time, until one day, I found out that he was writing erotic books. At that time, I finally knew that little brother isn't gay, he is just a pervert on the inside. But Zishan, you don't have to care about these small details. Yihong is really good to you. In my opinion, Yihong only acted like this after mustering up his courage. In the past, he didn't even dare to look at other girls." Zishan pouted her mouth. "He still doesn't dare to look at other girls now. Sister-in-law is indeed awesome. At the same time, Yihong is also a person who is easily hurt. With my understanding of him, right now he probably doesn't believe that he has a wife like you. He just wants to show off in front of you and prove that he is a useful man, a responsible man." Zishan. "Regardless of whether you believe it or not, I believe it." LV Liang inwardly added. Although sometimes, Zishan is unreliable. Zishan lightly sighed. After listening to LV Liang's words, Zishan also felt that her slip of the tongue had hurt Yihang's pride. LV Liang patted onto her sister-in-law's shoulder and said gravely, Zishan, Yihang is a good man. Don't give him too much pressure. I didn't give him pressure. He is the one who gave himself pressure. Zishan bit onto her lips and said lightly, when did I give him pressure? LV Liang lightly coughed. Little brother also told me a bit, you want to have a child. Is there anything wrong with me wanting to have a child? Zishan knitted her brows and asked. That's right, it is precisely because giving birth to a child gave Yihang pressure that he is afraid of. LV Liang said gravely. Afraid of what? Afraid that everything is just a dream, because everything is too wonderful. Chapter 494. Zishan, don't worry. I will teach Yihang how to become a real man. Looking at LV Liang's resolute gaze, Zishan was a bit afraid. Forget it, let me be the one to turn Yihang into a real man. LV Liang. The atmosphere suddenly became awkward. LV Shu hurriedly went to the living room and sat down. He thought to himself, little brother, as your big brother, I can only help you up to here. There's still a long way to go. After dinner, Zishan said, Big brother, come back early tonight. I will make Yihang's favorite braised fish. All right, I'll drag you back even if I have to. Thank you, big brother. After leaving the house, LV Lu contacted her underling and asked where he was. I didn't expect my little brother to go to Mage. Not bad, he knows how to ask for help. According to the address given by his underling, LV Shu arrived at Long and City's Jingxiu Garden. I heard that this place is a luxurious residential area. Mage brother is really awesome, he is really rich. However, she was stopped by the security guards at the door because LV Lu didn't look like a good person. If someone who was green from head to toe appeared in front of you, you would have the same feeling. After confirming, LV Lu successfully entered. There was really no other way. After all, my big brother Green is a very polite person. It doesn't seem appropriate for him to fly directly to a mage's house. She pressed the doorbell and saw a mage master opening the door. LV Liang was surprised and immediately shouted, Hello, mage master. Sai, come in. Death Mage said weakly. Because they were all Wei Chang's underlings, they were able to understand Death Mage's words. Walking into the mage's house, he saw all kinds of high-end goods. It was good to be rich. Back then, Sun Fong had obtained quite a lot of benefits from Ming family. Knowing that Death Mage loved to gamble, Sun Fong took control of all of Death Mage's assets. If it was given to Death Mage, all of Death Mage's assets would definitely be squandered away. As it turned out, Sun Fong's way of doing things was correct. If all of the money was in Death Mage's hands, how could the two of them possibly stay in this kind of place? He had long gone to the bottom of the chaotic heavenly bridge. LV Liang, you're here. Have a seat. Go get me some water. It was no wonder that Sun Fong was a sect master level woman. She was rather feminine. Moreover, she used to be the pride of the South. Her beauty was more than enough. It's just that LV Liang didn't expect that Mage Brother's position in the family was so, What else could Death Mage do? I have to serve this fleshy and ugly woman well before giving her money. I won't be able to live on anymore. LV Shu hurriedly bowed and took the water that the mage handed over. It was hard to be a man. His underlings were like this, and so were his mages. They were the outstanding representatives of the team, henpecked. Sister-in-law, His Honor has recently given us two brothers a mission, and we still need sister-in-law's help to complete it. LV Liang said with a slight smile. We are a team after all, so of course we have to help each other out. Sun Fong said with a slight smile. LV Shu, just now, Yihang has already told me everything. Don't worry, we are all people who serve His Honor. I have already sent my little disciple to go and scout around. If there is any news, I will inform you all. Right now, the Grand Master of the Cloud Sect was on rather good terms with Sun Fong. Therefore, he would naturally give her some face. Furthermore, this was a matter of eradicating evil, nothing else. Thank you, sister-in-law, for your help. If you need our help in the future, please don't hesitate to ask. LV Liang was very touched. This was the feeling of family. This was the strength of a team. Sun Fong smiled sweetly. Don't shirk away when the time comes, sister-in-law, don't worry. The two brothers sat for a while, and felt that the atmosphere was a little strange, so they said goodbye. After the two brothers left. My shoulders are a little sore. Sun Fong massaged her fragrant shoulders and murmured. Death Mage paused for a moment, then hurriedly ran behind Sun Fong. Reaching out his pair of bony hands, Death Mage lightly kneaded Sun Fong's body. And not bad, it feels comfortable. Here, this is for you. Sun Fong took out her phone and sent 100 RMB to Death Mage. I, the great Death Mage, have actually fallen to such a state. If I were to gamble again in the future, I will definitely cut myself in half. The two brothers walked into the elevator. LV Shu looked at his younger brother, who had not said a word, and asked curiously, What's with that expression? You look so sad. Sai, this mission is very difficult. After all, even his honor is unable to find it. Yi Hong was a little disappointed. He felt that if he couldn't complete the task well, he wouldn't be able to answer to his wife. After all, he had promised that he would work hard. LV Liang put her arm around the shoulder of her little brother. So, aren't you going back for lunch? I don't even have the face to meet Zishan anymore. Yi Hong murmured. In this relationship, Yi Hong is still not confident enough. His personality isn't something that can be changed just by using strength. Perhaps some people would explode with power, and not even know what their surname is. However, the Green and Red brothers knew that this power was bestowed upon them by his honor, and it wasn't obtained through their own hard work. Under normal circumstances, they would still live their lives like how they did in the past, and would only use their strength after receiving his honor's order. LV Liang also knew about his younger brother's personality and consoled him. Zishan is a good girl, don't let her down. I know, I am currently working hard to be an ideal man for her. Yi Hong, have you ever thought that the person Zishan likes is the current you, and not the person you are imagining? LV Liang said gravely. This younger brother needs to be guided carefully, if not, he will fall into his own dead end. After hearing what LV Liang said, Yi Hong remained silent and thought silently. Alright, don't look so sad. Let's go and relax in the afternoon, it's my treat. The corner of Yi Hong's mouth twitched. Big brother, I am a person with a family right now. LV Liang raised his hand and slapped onto Yi Hong's head. Scram, have a healthy mindset. At the very least, I am also a... Also what? Yi Hong asked. Nothing much. LV Liang said while stammering. Big brother, did you fall in love with those vampire sisters? Yi Hong grinned and said. His mood became a lot more cheerful. LV Liang snorted. I will fall in love with them? Even if I, LV Liang, die outside and starve to death, I will still not fall in love with them. So fragrant. LV Liang raised his hand and slapped onto Yi Hong's head again. Brat, now you know how to tease Big brother. Big brother, the vampire sisters are pretty good. Although this is a love that crosses races, but look at senior brother and sister-in-law. Even though they don't speak the same language, aren't they still living quite well? Sister-in-law also didn't despise senior brother for being a skeleton. Love is borderless and can even cross races. Oh brat, I have to look at you in a whole new light now. Where did you learn that from? Haha, I am just expressing my feelings. Zishan and I are borderless. How can my world be the same as yours? What LV Liang said was a bit hypocritical. If I were to say that I don't like the vampire sisters, that would be a lie. But I have already said it before. I have already pretended to be cool. Am I going to slap my own face? LV Liang was very gloomy, not knowing how to deal with his relationship problems. He dragged his little brother to play games. Of course, it wasn't chicken dinner. It was an arcade, and the game they were playing was the King of Fighters 98. OSA. OSA. Ha, I dug a hole. Chapter 495. In a winery on the outskirts, Lord Jiu was currently holding a goblet and sipping on a high-grade red wine. His tiny eyes were sparkling, and no one knew what he was thinking at this moment. Suddenly, the 8848 titanium phone in his pocket rang. Lord Jiu hurriedly took out his phone and saw that his master had sent him a WeChat message. He wanted to see what it was about. In a while you will receive a package and personally deliver it to this address, Long City, Chonglin Street, Immortal Gym's boss. Lord Jiu hurriedly regained his confidence. Yes, master. Putting away the phone, Lord Jiu chuckled. You guys have no idea how many masters I have. If one took a closer look, they would notice that there were more than 10 people in the contact list. Sure enough, not long after, Lord Jiu's little brother received a package and handed it over to Lord Jiu. Although Lord Jiu was curious about the things in the bag, he wouldn't do anything stupid. As long as he did his job well, his master would naturally reward him. Calling for his lackeys to prepare the car, Lord Jiu headed straight to the Immortal Gym. Half an hour later, they safely arrived at their destination. Lord Jiu said indifferently, "You guys wait here." Yes. Holding the SF package, Lord Jiu looked at the Immortal Gym on the 4th floor and took the elevator up. It happened to be the afternoon, and there were many young men and women in the gym, all sweating profusely. There were also strong personal trainers teaching newbies to train their muscles. "Sir, do you need a fitness card?" A young lady respectfully walked to Jiu Ye's side. She noticed that Jiu Ye's bearing was extraordinary. With one look, she could tell that he was a boss. She looked at him with her beautiful eyes, asking him to take care of her. Lord Jiu was already used to it. There were too many people who wanted to get rich without working hard, especially these women. "I have something to discuss with your boss," Jiu Yi said indifferently. His aura suddenly changed, causing the young lady to feel a little afraid. "I don't know if the boss is here," Lord Jiu coldly snorted. "Ask your manager to come out." The young lady hurriedly ran away. This man was so fierce. Not long after, a well-built man in a suit walked over. "Are you looking for our boss?" "I'm here to deliver the package." Lord Jiu wasn't afraid at all. If one had to be afraid, Lord Jiu felt that only when he saw the boss of Leisure Bar would he feel this way. The man in the suit seemed to understand Lord Jiu's intention. "Follow me." Lord Jiu followed the man in the suit to the boss's office. He saw a man wearing a flowery shirt playing golf. However, looking at his swing, he was just a rookie. "He's here," the man in the suit said in a deep voice. The boss responded and the man in the suit immediately left the room. Lord Jiu slowly walked over and said indifferently, "My master asked me to give this to you." Feng Tian ignored him and continued to swing the club with his uncoordinated body. This made Lord Jiu a little unhappy, but he didn't act recklessly before figuring out his opponent's strength. After standing there for about 10 minutes, Feng Tian wiped his forehead with a towel and looked at Lord Jiu. Lord Jiu also saw Feng Tian's face. He was wearing a mask on the left side of his face. The material of the mask was unknown, but Lord Jiu saw a golden pupil under the mask. Feng Tian stretched out his hand and did not say anything. Lord Jiu handed the package to him and turned around, intending to leave. "Don't you want to see what your master has sent?" Feng Tian sneered and sat on the sofa. Lord Jiu's eyes narrowed. This guy was not simple. Since it's a gift from the master naturally has his reasons. As servants, we just need to do our job well. Feng Tian smiled disdainfully and said, "In this house, you are the only servant, and the gift from your master is to form an alliance with me." This information was a little too much. His master actually sent something to form an alliance. This man should be very strong. "It was a slip of the tongue, I'm sorry." Lord Jiu hurriedly expressed his apology. This was also Lord Jiu's way of survival. He would speak the language of humans and speak the language of ghosts. Feng Tian also disdained to argue with ordinary people, so he ignored them. Lord Jiu left respectfully. "Big brother." The man in the suit walked in and said respectfully, "Feng Di, we have been searching for thousands of years. Finally, it's all here." Feng Tian's eyes suddenly turned cold. The box in his hand instantly turned into powder, revealing a bright red thing that looked like a red ceramic tile. He flipped his left hand. A round blood plate appeared in his hand, but it was missing a corner. The corner was symmetrical to this piece of blood. That small piece of blood seemed to have found a companion as it emitted a dense blood glow. The blood plate seemed to have sensed the smell and the blood glow intensified. Bang! The small piece of blood automatically embedded itself into the blood plate. Feng Tian and Feng Di's eyes were filled with fanaticism as they knelt on the ground and worshipped. Blood demon above. The blood plate emitted a red glow that enveloped the entire room. Within the red glow, a human face slowly formed. It looked extremely ferocious and terrifying. Who are you? We are the people who serve the blood demon. Feng Tian shouted respectfully. You are not one of us. What is your motive? Feng Tian raised his head slightly and said coldly, to bring disaster to the world. The blood demon was stunned for a moment before he laughed maniacally. Good. What a good, bring disaster to the world. I like you. Feng Di almost spat out the last sentence. The blood demon's expression was too direct. Thank you for your praise, blood demon. Damn you, god of chaos. How dare you imprison me for so long? I will settle this score with you slowly. The blood demon let out an angry and deep roar. The hatred and resentment in his voice grew stronger and stronger, and the red glow became thicker and thicker. Feng Tian shouted respectfully, Blood demon, don't worry. We will definitely help the blood demon. Very good. Have you found the purest blood? Blood demon, don't worry. We will be able to find the whereabouts of the purest blood in less than a month. The blood demon laughed maniacally. Good. I have already endured for so many years. Why would I care about a month? Look for it properly. I will not treat you unfairly. Thank you, blood demon. The blood demon shouted maniacally, and the red glow in the room gradually fused into the blood plate. Success. Feng Tian clenched his fist and said excitedly. Congratulations, big brother. Feng Di cupped his hands and congratulated. Feng Tian took a deep breath and calmed down the excitement in his heart. Right now, everyone's target is the purest blood. The purest blood. You must definitely find it for me. Yes. After Feng Di left, Feng Tian held onto the blood plate for a long time, and the golden pupils under the mask became even more distinct. These people were precisely the black-clothed men who exterminated Guan family. Yihua probably wouldn't know that these black-clothed men had disguised themselves as ordinary people and opened a gym. Furthermore, all of the trainers in the gym were black-clothed men. The purpose of doing this was to deceive others. On the other side, the Green and Red brothers sat in the game hall for an entire afternoon before leaving. Chapter 496. LV Liang grabbed his little brother and said, Don't say that big brother is not loyal. I said a lot of good things to you today, and I also promised Zishan to bring you back. Big brother. Stop messing around. Messing around your sister. You are a man. Be magnanimous. Zishan cooked your favorite braised fish. LV Liang's face was filled with resentment. How dare you throw such a tantrum? Zishan is just being straightforward. She didn't do it on purpose. Hearing his big brother's words, Yihang did not struggle anymore. Originally, he planned to go back after completing the mission. That way, he would be more manly, and he would be able to raise his head in front of Zishan. The two brothers sat on the bus and went back like a pair of gay friends. Coincidentally, it was also the time when school ended, and everyone's gaze was on them. Of course, the two of them were no longer dressed like before. They looked a bit more stylish now, the kind that had a lot of personality. After stopping and walking for nearly 40 minutes, they finally arrived at the entrance of the villa. While walking towards the villa, Yihang was very nervous. I threw a tantrum at noon and didn't go back. Will Zishan get angry? What kind of expression is that? Are you preparing to go to the execution ground or what? LV Liang laughed lightly. This little brother is actually afraid of his wife to this extent? Yihang let out a deep sigh. This was not fear, he was just afraid that Zishan would be disappointed in him. Especially that disappointed look in Zishan's eyes. It made Zishan seem like a useless person. After all, Zishan's previous identity was a deity. This was also a hurdle in Yihang's heart. Just like a loser who married Snow White, of course, he would think of ways to give the best to Snow White. Open the door. What are you blanking out for? LV Liang was really anxious. Look at me. I won't hesitate at all. Just how am I going to treat my sisters? It's so annoying. Yihang opened the door, changed into slippers, then walked into the house with his big brother. Zishan was sitting beside the dining table, and the dining table was filled with delicacies that Zishan had carefully prepared. The air was filled with the fragrance of the delicacies, causing people to drool. Perhaps it was because Zishan was thinking about something. She didn't notice the two of them entering the house. However, when Yihang saw Zishan like this, he felt that Zishan was so beautiful that it felt unreal. Even now, he was still suspecting that this beautiful girl was actually his wife, and she had even prepared a table full of delicacies for him. What did I do to deserve such treatment from you? Yihang felt even more ashamed. Zishan, we're back. LV Shu shouted out with a smile. Zishan, who was in a daze, came back to her senses. Soon after, she revealed a smile on her face and said, "Husband, big brother, you two are back. Quickly sit down, I'll go and heat up the dishes." "Zishan, don't be so busy. The dishes are still warm," LV Shu said with a smile, then poked the little brother beside him. "Damn it, your wife is calling you. Say something." "Zishan, thank you. Zishan, thank you. How could you be so polite to your wife?" Needless to say, Yihang had always been very polite and courteous to Zishan, and had never crossed the line. "Take a seat. I'll go get some rice. Would you like some wine?" Zishan was also fawning over her husband in every possible way, but what she didn't know was that her actions made Yihang feel even more ashamed, and Yihang felt that he was not worthy of being fawned over. If Shan were that, Liang would, Yihang would have of Shan of. Eat. Of. Oh, okay. Zishan prepared everything and even personally poured wine for her husband and big brother. To LV Liang, he was really satisfied with this sister-in-law of his. Zishan is virtuous and sensible, and my vampire sisters are also not bad. Aya. Just what is wrong with me? I thought of my vampire sisters again. Come, let's have a toast first. LV Liang raised his wine cup and said with a smile. Zishan raised her wine cup with a smile on her face. Yihang's mood was a bit heavy, but he still raised his wine cup. LV Liang and Zishan both took a small sip of their wine, while Yihang took a sip of his wine. Yihang's face was sunken, and he had a very unhappy look on his face. LV Liang gave a signal with his eyes. This little brother is stupid, right? Zishan is already acting like this, and you are still acting like this? You must be crazy. Zishan smiled gently and didn't take it to heart. She reached out her hand and placed a piece of fish meat into her husband's bowl. Yihang, your favorite braised fish. If it was yesterday night, Yihang might be very happy. But now, looking at the tender fish meat in his bowl, Yihang felt very uncomfortable in his heart. Zishan treated me so well, yet I didn't even manage to do anything for her to see. Furthermore, right now, I am just like a headless fly that is running around aimlessly. I didn't even manage to meet his honor's expectations at all. Not only did I let down his honor, I also let down Zishan. Both of them are people that treat me so well, yet I am so stupid. Thinking up to here, Yihang took the wine bottle and poured himself a glass of wine, then drank it in one gulp. Then he continued pouring himself a glass of wine, then drank it again. Yihang, what are you doing? LV Liang's expression tensed up as he shouted out. Is this how a husband should act? Zishan had been busy cooking for an entire afternoon. And not only did you not give her a good look, you are even drinking like this. Zishan, who was sitting beside LV Liang, wrinkled her eyebrows, and her smile gradually disappeared. I have already compromised a lot. I have already made your favorite food. Why are you still acting like this? However, right now, Yihang actually started drinking while facing the white wine. LV Liang couldn't bear to watch this anymore, and snatched the white wine bottle over. Big brother, what are you doing? Yihang said with a red face. In actuality, when they aren't using their strength, they are the same as ordinary people. They can control themselves and get drunk whenever they want to. LV Liang said gravely. What am I doing? What are you doing? Who are you doing this for? Big brother, give me the wine. Yihang stretched out his hand and said gravely. How could LV Liang possibly give the wine to Yihang? Who knows what kind of crazy words this idiot will say? I don't know if he will anger his wife and drive her away. Big brother, give him the wine. Zishan said faintly. Hearing that, LV Liang had a bad feeling. Without a choice, he could only give the wine to Zishan. However, he didn't leave. If the two of them were to fight, he would still be able to persuade them. Yihong took the wine and began drinking again. Very quickly he became dizzy. Yihong, if you have anything that you are unhappy about, just say it. In front of Big Brother, Zishan said. Zishan was a bit unhappy in her heart. Yihong laughed lightly with a trace of disdain. This disdain seemed to be a form of pity towards others. Right now, Yihong was thinking, Zishan only became my wife because she felt that I am pitiful. Who would be willing to become my wife? That is impossible. Yihong, what is the meaning of this? Zishan suddenly stood up and asked. LV Liang hurriedly persuaded. Zishan, if you have something to say, then say it nicely. This brat is drunk, he will definitely talk nonsense. Yihong laughed with the help of the wine. Nonsense, I won't talk nonsense. Fine. Then say it. Zishan shouted. Chapter 497. LV Liang was startled. Zishan was also startled. She didn't expect that Yihong would actually say such a thing. After all, Yihong rarely did such a thing. Zishan's beautiful eyes immediately turned red, and she tightly clenched her fists. Their relationship was full of twists and turns. If it wasn't you who died, then it was me who died. Logically speaking, this kind of relationship that had gone through death should be everlasting. If other factors were ignored, this kind of relationship could indeed be everlasting. However, Yihong was born in the countryside, and other than being close to his big brother, he didn't have the chance to come into contact with anyone else. Even if he had powerful strength now, he still couldn't get rid of this kind of inferiority. In today's mission, Yihong knew that he was lacking, and he couldn't do anything about it. After returning home, Zishan still tried to please him in every possible way. The strong sense of guilt made Yihong feel that he was useless and unworthy of being cared for. The negative emotions immediately erupted. Why would there be negative emotions? It was because Zishan had always been very strong in front of Yihong. Strong to the point that Yihong thought that Zishan was showing off her identity as a deity, but he didn't say anything. But now that he said everything out, he felt very happy. Zishan felt very heartache. When did I ever ask you for anything? For you, I didn't hesitate to kill everyone in the Marquis's mansion. Could it be that I, Zishan, still care about those empty things? I also didn't expect that in your heart. I am actually such a woman. Said, Hong. Hurry up and apologize to Zishan. Look at how drunk you are. Zishan, don't take it to heart. This fellow is just an idiot. The word idiot from Big Brother immediately touched Yihong. That's right. I am an idiot. So idiotic that I can't do anything well. So idiotic that I think that you like me. So idiotic that I think that after going through all these things, we can be together forever. Hearing Yihong's roar, Zishan placed her hands on the dining table, then looked at Yihong with her beautiful red eyes and asked, Could it be that you think that I don't like you? Yihong laughed bitterly. You are a deity, and I am just a wild brat from the countryside. My strength was bestowed to me by his honor. If I didn't have all these, I would just be a passerby to you, and you wouldn't like me at all. Yihong, you disappoint me too much. Zishan shouted miserably, and tears flowed out from her eyes. Her heart was hurt by Yihong, and Yihong was also hurt by her. Yes, I will only disappoint you. I can't do anything great, and I can't become the man you want me to be. As Yihong laughed, tears flowed down her cheeks. She was just a pheasant. No matter how much she changed, she would never be able to become a phoenix. Zishan asked gravely, Then, what do you want? Zishan, let's get a divorce. After saying that, Yihong felt that her entire body had loosened up. Because he had a wife like Zishan, Yihong felt a bit suffocated. As for Zishan, she looked at Yihong in disbelief. Never would she have thought that Yihong would ask for a divorce. How was he lacking? What did he do wrong? What right do you have to ask for a divorce from me? Zishan, who was enraged, grabbed onto Yihong's collar with both of her hands, and her beautiful face was filled with tears. Looking at Zishan, who was in such a state, Yihong laughed bitterly. I am indeed not qualified. You are a god, and I am just a mortal. We are people from different worlds. The big brother who was standing at the side already felt that he couldn't get a word in. It's over. Zishan stared at Yi Hong, who had an indifferent look on her face, and her face became terrifyingly gloomy. Yi Hong's back slammed into the wall behind her, and a crack immediately appeared. All right. See you at the Civil Affairs Bureau tomorrow. After finished speaking, Zishan ran out of the house while holding on to her face. LV Shu looked at his underling, then looked outside the door, and was a bit at a loss. Meanwhile, Yi Hong patted on his clothes and let out a breath of relief. Then he sat back down and ate the piece of fish that was in his bowl. This might be the last thing that I will eat that Zishan made. While eating, tears flowed out from the corner of Yi Hong's eyes. In actuality, I shouldn't have had any thoughts about Zishan from the very start, because the difference between my and Zishan's identity is too big, to the point that I don't even dare to have any extravagant hopes. LV Shu sat down as well, poured himself a cup of wine, then drank it in one gulp, then said, Is there something wrong with your brain? Big brother, don't you think that Zishan is too perfect? That I am not worthy of her at all? In the beginning, LV Shu did think that way, but after going through those things, he felt that the two of them could still be together. The prerequisite was to abandon their previous identities. After all, the difference between them was too big. LV Shu said gravely, Yi Hong, think about it carefully. The marriage between you and Zishan was decided by his honor. If you were to get a divorce, do you know the consequences? If you were to divorce, I'm afraid that something would happen to you and Zishan. It doesn't matter to you, but have you ever thought about Zishan? Right now she is already homeless. Big brother's words startled Yi Hong. That's right. My marriage is decided by his honor. If I were to divorce, wouldn't I be throwing away his honor's face? If his honor gets angry, it doesn't matter if I am to suffer, but if I were to implicate Zishan, if that happens, I would be a sinner. No. This marriage cannot be divorced. As expected, I am stupid to death. I actually didn't think about this. What are you waiting for? LV Shu shouted. Chapter 498. Hearing that, Yihua almost choked. This sister-in-law of mine only knows how to mess things up. Yihua shouted out gravely, Qing Yutong, why are you making a fuss? Qing Yutong wiped away her tears and snot, then shouted while crying. This atmosphere is here, I was just casually shouting. Woo woo woo, the three women once again let out an earth-shattering wail. And Yihua felt that his entire body wasn't feeling good. I should just go and live in Voidless Realm for this period of time. This place of his was about to become a desolate place. Right when the three women were crying, Yi Hong's figure appeared in the office, and Yi Hong hurriedly knelt down in front of Yihua. Qing Yutong, Smelly Man. Brett, Stinky Man. Zishan, Stinky Man. Yihua said coldly, the two of you get out of here, go and play your games. Qing Yutong and Brett held hands and said, we are going to judge this stinky man together. Scram. Yihua shouted coldly. Qing Yutong and Brett paused, then immediately said, all right. After Qing Yutong and Brett left, Yihua stared at the two with a sunken face. The matter regarding absolute heaven and Brett is already very troublesome. He didn't expect that Yi Hong and Zishan would also put on a show. Do you think that I'm very free? Or do you still feel that I, the Supreme Overlord, am getting easier and easier to talk to? Yihua extinguished the cigarette butt and sat on the sofa, not even taking a look at the two of them. Zishan was currently half kneeling on the ground and sobbing, while Yi Hong was kneeling on the ground and had her head lowered. When the two of them heard that his honor had gotten angry, both of them immediately became silent. They were both afraid that his honor would kill the other party out of anger. Your honor, Yi Hong is bullying me, saying that I'm not a woman here and not a woman there. I can't continue living like this anymore. Zishan cried bitterly. Just thinking about it made Zishan's heart break. I have done my best for Yi Hong, but I never expected that Yi Hong would say such hurtful words to me. Yi Hong did not refute. She lowered her head in silence. After hearing that, Yihua said coldly, since you hate him so much, then go ahead and kill him. When Zishan heard that, she cried even louder. How could she bear to do that? Yi Hong, you said that you want to divorce Zishan, right? Yihua asked gravely while looking at Yi Hong, who had her head lowered. I, the Supreme Overlord, was the one who presided over your marriage, and this is also the first time I am presiding over your marriage for my little brother. It has only been a few months, and you two are already asking for a divorce? Isn't this the same as slapping my face? In the future, none of those subordinates would dare to let me host their wedding. Yi Hong hurriedly said. Your Honor has misunderstood, there is no such thing. Are the two of you toying with me? Yihua shouted out angrily. These people are getting more and more daring. I don't dare. Yi Hong pressed her forehead against the ground. When Yihua heard Zishan's cries, he became a bit impatient. Enough. Don't cry. Although Zishan had stopped crying, she was still choking with sobs. Her delicate shoulders were slightly shaking, and she felt as if she had suffered a huge grievance. Yi Hong's heart ached when she heard this. Tell me, what do you two want? There's nothing that death can't solve. The two of them fell silent again. How could they possibly wish for each other to die? In fact, it was just a small quarrel between a young couple. It was very normal. However, for the two of them to come and look for Yihua for such a small matter, they shouldn't be looking for Yihua. Seeing that the two of them didn't speak, Yihua said gravely, how about this? The two of you should separate for a period of time first and calm down. Don't come and look for me for everything. I don't have time to care about your family matters. Zishan choked with sobs and said, Your Honor, I know my mistake. Seeing that Zishan's attitude of admitting her mistake was still all right, Yihua's anger calmed down a bit. Yi Hong, how is the matter going? Your Honor, please be at ease. Subordinate will definitely settle the matter. What if the matter isn't settled? Subordinate will apologize with my death. Yi Hong kowtowed and said. Yihua sneered. Good. You have a lot of backbone. I am looking forward to your performance. Zishan, who was at the side, looked at Yi Hong blankly. I really want to give him a slap. Don't you think before you speak? If you die, what's the point of letting me live alone? Zishan, you stay here for this period of time. Yi Hong, you go and settle the matter. Remember what you said. This time I am serious. Yes. Subordinate will definitely not disappoint your honor. Yi Hong said gravely. If I don't settle this matter properly, I won't have the face to be his honor's subordinate, and I won't have the qualifications to be Zishan's husband. Go. Yes. Following after Yi Hong left, Zishan immediately sat on the ground. Yihua took a look at Zishan, then disappeared from his office. This place is too annoying. It is better for me to go to Voidless Realm and have some peace and quiet. My leisure bar has already become a shelter for married women. Yihua arrived at his daughter's courtyard, and Dong Huangli could be seen rushing out of her room. Daddy, Yihua carried his daughter into his embrace. Ali. Daddy, Ali misses you. His daughter's words made Yihua, who was gloomy, feel a lot happier. Yihua temporarily tossed aside the trivial matter between his subordinates. To come and look for me just because of a small conflict. Who do I look for when I have a conflict with them? Didn't you just gather your subordinates and think of a solution? Ali, where's mommy? Yihua asked. Dong Huangli pouted her small mouth. Mommy and Mommy Qing are still discussing things. They don't have time to accompany Ali. Let's go, Daddy, bring Ali to look for mommy. All right. Yihua carried his daughter and walked towards the Empress's bedroom, and his path was smooth and unobstructed. Looking at the brightly lit bedroom, Yihua let out a light sigh. It's just a small matter. Is there a need to work so hard? Yihua pushed open the door. Qingya and Donghuang Baiji, who were inside the bedroom, went into a daze. In the entire Voidless Realm, who would dare to push open the door with such strength, other than husband? Yihua, why did you come? Qingya and Donghuang Baiji asked at the same time. Donghuangli said obediently, Daddy misses mommy, so I came. You child. Donghuang Baiji laughed lightly, then carried her daughter into her embrace and kissed her, making Ali extremely happy. Meanwhile, Yihua let out a sigh, expressing that he was very vexed. Qingya pressed Yihua onto the chair, then stood behind Yihua and lightly massaged him. What's wrong? What happened to make my man sigh like this? It's subordinate's trivial matter, Yihua said faintly. Did Brett cause trouble again? Dong Huang Baiji asked curiously. Dong Huangli asked curiously. Aunt Brett is actually quite pitiful. Uncle Ju Tian is too heartless. Child, what do you know? Dong Huang Baiji pinched onto her daughter's face. Humph, don't look at how Ali is young, she actually knows everything. Yi Hua's words caused the three adults to reveal a smile on their faces. Ali was just like a happy fruit. She would reveal a smile when everyone was in a heavy mood. After coaxing Ali, Yi Hua put her back to sleep. The two wives leaned onto Yi Hua's embrace and enjoyed this moment of peace. Speak, what's wrong? We might be able to help you come up with an idea. Qingye smiled tenderly. Chapter 499. Hearing that, Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji went into a daze. Qingye asked tenderly. It can't be. I feel that they are quite good. Why would they want to divorce? That's right. It couldn't be that Zishan wants a divorce, right? Dong Huang Baiji said. Even Dong Huang Baiji felt that it was Zishan who proposed the divorce. From this, it could be seen how much she did not think highly of Yihong, because Yihong had always been very careful. That kind of gentle man doesn't seem like the kind of man who would propose a divorce. You all guessed wrong this time. The divorce was proposed by Yihong. Yi Hua said. Qingye muttered. Does Yihong have such guts? It seemed that Yihong's nickname of being a henpecked husband was real. Perhaps, it's because the pressure that Zishan is giving me is too big. Yi Hua said. As a man, he was still able to somewhat understand. Dong Huang Baiji nodded her head. Dong Huang Baiji said. That's right. Zishan was a deity in the past, and Yihong's birth wasn't that good. If the two of them were to be together, they would more or less have some differences. Their disagreement is about children. Yi Hua laughed lightly, feeling rather speechless. Yihong can be considered to be very stubborn. Such a beautiful wife is begging for a child, and yet he actually doesn't want to give it to her. I, the Supreme Overlord, am very optimistic about this kind of man. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji were a bit puzzled. Yi Hua explained faintly. This Zishan wants to have a child, and Yihong wants to have a child after making a career, and Zishan is forcing Yihong to have a child every single day. Meanwhile, Yihong wants me to give him a mission, and it just so happens that I have a mission for him this time, and I will give it to the two brothers to do it. Perhaps, the result might not be satisfactory. Qingye said in a low voice. This Yihong is not bad. He wants to establish a business for Zishan to see. Even if Zishan doesn't have a family, Zishan also has other choices. This should also be the reason why Yihong isn't willing to give birth to a child, right? Zishan is indeed very thoughtful. Dong Huang Baiji said. Yi Hua laughed lightly. If I were to say, would this child be able to run away after giving birth to Zishan? This Yihong is so stubborn. Qingye and Dong Huang Baiji rolled their eyes at their husband. Of course you men think like this. As long as you get the hang of it, it doesn't matter anymore. Qingye snorted. That's right, that's right. Dong Huang Baiji echoed. Yi Hua said gravely. Did I not care about you too? After finished speaking, Yi Hua carried the two of them and walked towards the bed, planning to have a threesome. Yi Hua, put me down. The two girls were extremely bashful. They became like this just because they didn't get along. They were getting more and more perverted. We are already an old husband and wife, so what if we sleep together? Yi Hua planned to forcefully push her down tonight. If not, when would he have to wait? The two wives looked at each other, and Qingye hugged onto Yi Hua's neck and kissed him. This caused the hand that was holding onto Dong Huang Baiji to loosen slightly, and Dong Huang Baiji took the opportunity to slip away. After separating from each other, Yi Hua looked at Qingye, who was blushing red, and said faintly, You are quite loyal to your friends. I'll stay with you longer tonight. All night. It's up to you if you don't feel sorry for me. Yi Hua laughed, then stretched out his index finger and slid it across Qingye's delicate face. You are truly becoming more and more adorable. Looking at her husband's passionate gaze, Qingye smiled sweetly. She closed her beautiful eyes and once again offered her red lips to express her love. On the other side, Yihong returned to the villa in a daze. Her mind was a mess, and she could not think straight. How's the situation? LV Shu hurried over and asked. Yihong let out a sigh of relief, then said softly, I have given a military order in front of His Honor. LV Liang's face stiffened. She raised her hand and slapped him. When we were young, I always thought that you were lacking something in your brain. I didn't expect that it still hasn't been reconnected. Yi Hong rubbed the back of her head and smiled bitterly. I won't be able to connect them in this lifetime. How's your wife? His Honor told us to split up and calm down. Zishan will be staying at His Honor's place during this period of time. It's good that you guys are apart for a period of time. You can both calm down. LV Liang exhaled. This was also good. She could carefully think about how to get along with him. Big brother, it is better for us to think of a way to settle His Honor's matter. Lulu nodded her head. The most important thing right now is to complete the task that His Honor had given me. This way, my little brother will be able to feel a bit more comfortable. But now he had no clue at all. What could he do? After a moment of silence, Yi Hong asked, Big brother, since we can't find them, let them find us. LV Liang was confused. Didn't they want the purest blood? Why don't we ask Uncle Wei to help us and spread out the news that we have the purest blood? LV Liang went into a daze for a moment, then patted Yi Hong's head again. Brat, you have become a bit more intelligent. Big brother, you were the one who patted my head. Yi Hong said helplessly. Big brother, do you know that I am patting you to wake you up? If not, how would you be able to think of such a method? But the two of us, how do we look like people who have the purest blood? Yi Hong said vexedly. Could it be that two grown men possess the purest blood? Even an idiot wouldn't believe that. LV Liang pondered for a moment, then said, Let's go and look for Uncle Wei. Uncle Wei will definitely have a way. All right, we can only look for Uncle Wei to help us. After finished speaking, the two prepared to look for Wei Chong for help. When Wei Chong heard the two's suggestion, he felt that it was feasible. Since the other party isn't going to appear, I will just lure them to appear. Not only did Wei Chong agree to the two brothers' request, he even asked Ying family's secret agent to spread out the news. This will be perfect. After the two brothers returned from Wei Chang's house, they were in a daze. Little brother, isn't this too rash? LV Liang said in a deep voice. The current LV Liang had already changed. She had a beautiful female face, long green hair, and looked very flirtatious. In addition to that unique voice, she was truly a beauty. Yi Hong was the same. She had a head of fiery red hair, an angelic face and firm chest muscles. Coupled with that perfect body, there was simply nothing to nitpick about. Yi Hong looked at the big brother's appearance and couldn't help but nod. It is indeed a bit too rash. What if I can't change back? LV Liang said in a deep voice. Yi Hong swallowed his saliva and reached out to touch his crotch. Instantly, his expression changed drastically. Seeing the little brother's appearance, the big brother also touched it, and his expression immediately darkened. Fuck, it's all your good idea. I'm not even married yet. There are still two young sisters of the blood tribe waiting for me to draw their blood. LV Liang immediately pounced over. However, even the air was sealed. LV Liang's hands were pressed against the little brother's chest. The two brothers stared at each other, as if it was real. Yi Hong immediately covered his chest with both hands and said in disbelief, Big brother, what are you doing? Sorry, I didn't adjust myself. LV Liang immediately stood up. Chapter 500. After calming down for a long time, the two brothers still hadn't come back to their senses. Yi Hong couldn't help but say, Big brother, let's hurry up and complete the mission. Uncle Wei, this is too realistic. That's true. Let's hurry up and complete the mission. What about changing clothes? Wearing your wife's clothes? That's the only way. As she spoke, Yi Hong walked into the bedroom and picked out two sexy and revealing clothes. Although they weren't branded, it was fine as long as they looked good. It didn't take long for the two of them to change their equipment. Yi Hong was wearing a tight red dress that wrapped tightly around her body. That little dress was so short that it reached her thighs. Now that Yi Hong wore such a dress, it was really hot. LV Lu was wearing a tank top and a pair of jeans that were as big as a palm. Her long and slender legs were exposed to the air, making her look extremely sexy. LV Lu couldn't help but say, Little brother, why haven't I seen your wife wear it before? It's quite sexy. Yihong's face darkened when she heard her brother's words. Her eyes seemed to be asking, Brother, are you interested in my wife? LV felt that he had said something wrong and hurriedly explained. There is no misunderstanding. How is it possible for Big Brother to like your wife? Big Brother is a man with a woman. Hearing her big brother's words, Yihong ridiculed. Big Brother, you finally admitted it? Blood clan sisters are pretty good, at the very least, compared to Zishan. Speaking of Zishan, Yihong became silent. Lulu patted her little brother's shoulder. No matter what, Zishan is still your wife. Even if she is a bit overbearing, that is still her personality. In the future, she will slowly change. You shouldn't hurt her heart like that. After listening to Zishan's words, Yihong remained silent. Zishan's domineering attitude gave her a lot of pressure, and she really couldn't get over it. However, this doesn't mean that she doesn't like Zishan. Alright, Big Brother, let's hang out outside for the next few days. Lu laughed and said, Then you have to call me Big Sister. Don't let it slip. Alright, Big Sister. Little sister is so obedient. The two brothers were silent for a moment. They immediately turned around and retched. It was too disgusting. In these 2 days, the two sisters mingled in various big bars in Longan City, causing quite a stir. These green and red sisters suddenly became the social butterfly of Longan City. As long as the two sisters were at a place, there would be many people who would go and admire them. What the two sisters were doing was to attract those mysterious people, and then deliver themselves to their doorstep. There was no one else who could do this as a courier. In the land of desolation, Yihua wasn't at home, and the four women had formed a team to eat chicken dinner. Right now, even Zishan had been led astray by Yihua. However, Zishan was merely using the game to relieve her stress. After the four women finished off the last man, they successfully got the chicken dinner. Then he stretched his shoulders. A ray of light flashed past Qing Yutong's eyes. Going out to have fun? When Zishan and Bright heard that, they felt that it was possible. Yi Zizi yawned and said, You guys go ahead. I have to go to class tomorrow. Right now Yi Zizi was already a good student. That means that she is extremely obedient, which means that Yihua's teachings are still useful. Yutong, where are we going to play? Bright asked lazily. Zishan pursed her lips and said in melancholy. That's right, where are we going? Let's go take revenge on that man. Qing Yutong said sneakily. When Bright and Zishan heard that, their eyes instantly lit up, especially when they heard the words take revenge on men. It ignited the fury in their hearts. Bright and Zishan were not normal women. When they become fierce, they would kill their entire family. Yi Zizi hugged onto her society pig and sighed. Women. Speaking as if I am not a woman. While speaking, Qing Yutong took out her sexiest clothes generously. When the three women who were extremely beautiful wore those clothes, men would definitely stand up respectfully. Qing Yutong clenched her fist and said confidently, Let's go. Let those men go and suffer. Bright. Kill them. Zishan. Chop them to death. Yi Zizi hugged onto her doll. Like this, no one will want you guys in the future. When the three women walked downstairs, Wei Chong took a doubtful look at them, but he did not say anything. After all, they are his honor's sister-in-law, and it is very possible for them to become his honor's wife in the future. However, looking at how they are dressed, they don't seem to be going out to eat supper. And instead, they seem to be going out to seduce men. Tang Wei, who was at the side, pouted. Uncle Wei, what are you looking at? Oh, nothing. Tang Wei said tenderly. Uncle Wei, I also have that kind of clothes. Do you want to take a look? Don't, the weather has been cold recently. You will catch a cold. Remember to wear more clothes. Tang Wei. After getting onto the Audi A8, the three women directly headed towards the city. Of course, they wouldn't go to the bar at the side. That would be too boring. Yutong, let's go to that bar to kill men. Bright's hands were already itching, and upon thinking about Ju Tian, he would gnash his teeth. Meanwhile, Zishan had a gloomy face. Tonight, I am going to kill 10 scumbags. The corner of Qing Yutong's mouth twitched. I feel that I brought out 2 female killing gods. That brother-in-law said, we are all legal citizens, And we will definitely not randomly kill people. We are just going to go and torture some men. The kind that has their testicles burst. Don't be too ruthless. What the F***? This is even more ruthless than killing them. The three women chose a rather big WTO nightclub. There will definitely be men who don't want their testicles there. Meanwhile, in the WTO nightclub, the two sisters were already flirting with each other. LV and Yi Hong could be seen crazily twisting their waists on the dance floor. At this moment, the two of them were already completely immersed into the dance floor, and even their high heels were stepped on beautifully, turning into enchanting beauties. Meanwhile, beside the sisters, a large group of men surrounded them and cheered, whistling continuously. After finishing a round of hot dance, the two sisters walked to the side of the bar, and naturally, there would be men who would treat them to drinks. Big sister, how about having skewers tonight? The handsome man at the side was salivating. This is simply a top-grade woman. This chest of hers is so big that it can smash a watermelon right. Yi Hong licked the scarlet cocktail and hinted at it crazily, causing the little handsome man to feel ashamed of himself. LV immediately gave the little handsome man a slap. Little brother is too engrossed in acting, looking at me. I only stuck out my tongue and spun it around. The little handsome man was already about to explode. These two big sisters are simply too much. Suddenly, whistling sounds rang out from the direction of the entrance. And the two sisters immediately looked over, and the little handsome man also looked over. The lighting technician was also very supportive. He immediately shone the big lights over. Three devastatingly beautiful big sisters could be seen walking over slowly. That arrogant appearance and cold and arrogant temperament attracted everyone's attention. These three big sisters are practically the darling of the heavens. Chapter 501. Everyone's eyes followed the white lights. The three women did not have the slightest stage fright. Their beautiful faces and sexy figures moved everyone present. The most important thing was the temperament of the three women. This was what men should conquer. The two sisters who were treated coldly were shocked. Why would your wife come to such a place? LV Liang exclaimed in admiration as he looked at Zishan, who was one of the three women. Zishan is dressed so sexily. I reckon that even my little brother has never seen her before. Yi Hong was speechless. Seeing his little brother's state, the big brother hurriedly explained to Zishan. Little brother, don't panic. Zishan is a good woman. She will definitely not come to a bar to look for a man. Originally, Yi Hong didn't think blindly, but after being reminded by her big brother, her heart immediately felt heavy. Zishan is actually here to look for a man as expected. Yi Hong calmed down. Perhaps, Zishan is too bored and came out to relax. Can't you see that his honor's sister-in-law is also here? He's definitely not here to mess around. LV Liang's reminder made Yi Hong feel much better. That's right, his honor's sister-in-law is also here. My wife is definitely not like what I think she is. Suddenly, LV Liang frowned. She saw three men in suits walk in. Big brother, what's wrong? Yi Hong asked when she saw her big brother's strange expression. Those three men are weird, LV Liang said in a low voice. A woman's intuition told her, oh no, a man's intuition told her that these three men might be the men she was looking for. No. Why did she want to find a man? It was the group of people he was looking for. Yi Hong was startled. Big brother, you can't be saying that. Those three men are? Very likely. Let's wait and see. In actuality, the two brothers' quest was very difficult. Just like Death Mage's quest back then, it wasn't the kind of quest where they had to kill each other. Instead, they sent the purest blood into the hands of the other party in a reasonable manner. They couldn't even let the other party notice anything amiss. This was truly a severe test for the two brothers. Feng Di was one of the three men. These few days, there was a rumor that the purest blood had appeared in Long and City. This was great news for Feng Tian and Feng Di. When luck came, it couldn't be stopped. According to the intel, it was a woman in green and a woman in red. Recently, they had been wandering around various nightclubs. Tonight, Feng Di received the news and came to observe. Who knew that as soon as he came in he would see three outrageously beautiful women. Such stunning beauties were really rare. If he could catch them for his big brother to play with, his big brother would be very happy. With this thought in mind, Fengdi followed Qin Yutang and the other two women towards the second floor. Big brother, what should we do? Those three men didn't see us. Furthermore, he is following Zishan. Yi Hong said nervously, while her gaze was sneaking a peek at the second floor. LV Liang also felt that the situation wasn't good. Why did his honor's sister-in-law suddenly appear here? Furthermore, this is the first time that there is a clue regarding his honor's sister-in-law. Let's wait and see first. LV Liang held his temper and did not rush forward. Yi Hong nodded. Let's take a look first. On the second floor, Qin Yutang brought along Brett and Zishan and sat down. However, before the three of them even had time to speak, three men appeared in front of them. Beautiful ladies, I don't know if I have the honor to have a drink with you. Fengdi leaned forward slightly, acting like a gentleman. The prey has taken the bait. The corner of the three's mouth curled up into a smile. Of course, this wasn't a smile that was meant to show goodwill. However, in Fengdi's eyes, the three women in front of him had already been conquered by his handsomeness. Look at their smiles. I can tell that they are itching to have a night with me. Of course. Qin Yutang smiled tenderly. Last time, I put on a show with Yi Zizi. What am I going to do today? When Yi Hong saw that the three men actually sat down, his entire body didn't feel good. Big brother, didn't you say? LV Liang was in disbelief as well. He completely didn't know that Qin Yutang only wanted to bring along her injured friend to relieve her stress. What should we do, big brother? Yi Hong asked anxiously. My wife is going to be taken away tonight. I don't want to be cuckolded like big brother. LV Liang said gravely. Yi Hong, don't worry. Big brother won't let you walk down the same path as me. Yi Hong, let's go, big brother will bring you to smash the place. LV Liang pulled onto his little brother and walked towards the second floor. On the second floor, Brett and Zishan looked at the three men and clenched their small fists tightly under the table. As expected, men aren't good things. Where are the three big brothers from? Qin Yutang signaled to Brett and Zishan to calm down. The show has only just begun. Just as Fengdi was about to speak, a voice suddenly rang out. Damn you, why are you here? LV Liang could be seen walking over while swaying her buttocks, then actually sat on Fengdi's thigh. As for Yi Hong, he secretly took a look at his wife, and he was a bit hesitant, but he still sat on the other side of Fengdi. Everyone present was stupefied. Especially Fengdi. What is going on? However, when he saw the two women who came over, his brows wrinkled. Aren't they our target? One green and one red beauty. Aren't they women who have the purest blood in their bodies? They shouldn't be acting so coquettishly. Could it be that the information we received was wrong? The green and red brothers' incarnations were cast by Wei Chong, and the three women were completely unable to see through the true bodies of the two sisters. However, this green and red made the three women think of the green and red brothers. There was no helping it. That color was too eye-catching, and it could be seen everywhere. As for the traffic lights, they had seen quite a few of them just now. Right now, Fengdi already felt that the information he received was wrong. These green and red sisters are definitely not people who have the purest blood in their bodies. However, being able to bring these three women back is also a good thing. This trip was not made in vain. Ladies, please be a bit more respectful. I don't know the two of you. Fengdi said coldly. Don't disturb me from flirting with girls. LV Lu said. Big brother, we even met last night. How did we not know each other so quickly? Yi Hong also wanted to show off, but when he saw Zishan, he immediately became terrified. Meanwhile, Zishan's brows were tightly wrinkled. These two women are giving me a very familiar feeling. Too familiar. That's right. It's their clothes. They are actually the same style as me. Back then, I bought them but didn't wear them. It can't be such a coincidence, right? These two women are wearing the clothes that I bought before. Zishan secretly took a look at the shoes that the two women were wearing, and her expression immediately sunk. Those two pairs of high heels are mine as well. I am certain of this, because there is a scratch on one of the heels. Although it is not very obvious, it is not something that can escape Zishan's eyes. The one with the green hair is definitely Big Brother. The one who is sitting silently at the side is definitely my husband. I would recognize him even if he turned into ashes. Because my husband is always like this, especially when he sees me. He would always give off the feeling that he doesn't dare to look at me, as if he is scared to death. Chapter 502. Not right. This is no longer a man dressing up as a woman. He clearly used some sort of method to turn into a woman. These two perverts. This is definitely Big Brother's idea. My Ihong definitely wouldn't do such a thing. He definitely regrets saying that to me. And then under Big Brother's instigation, he used this sort of method to reduce his stress. LV Liang's mind was successfully filled in by Zishan. Not right. The two of them wouldn't go to the extent of becoming women to relieve stress. If they wanted to relieve stress, they would go and become a big sword or something. That's right. My lord's mission. Could it be that the two of them became like this for the sake of doing a mission? And then they coincidentally saw that I came, and couldn't help but come over to create trouble? That should be the case. This bastard even said that he wants to divorce me, shameless, stinky man. Feng Di was already very annoyed. If not for there being too many people here, he would definitely have slapped the two women away. If the two of you continue to be like this, I won't be polite anymore. Feng Di gave his final warning, hurry up and scram. I don't know what's going on with this information, but it actually said that the two of them have purest blood, which means that they are nightclub girls. Just as LV Liang was about to speak, Zishan suddenly stood up. Big Brother, this place is too noisy, let's go to another place. Zishan's actions caused Qinya and Brett to go into a daze. It's good that we go to another place. This green and red scene is truly vexing. It is truly throwing away the face of women. LV Liang and Yihong's heart sunk, especially Yihong. I feel that my heart is about to break. My wife is actually going to get a room with this man. Feng Di was delighted in his heart, and he hurriedly pushed away the two women who were on him and said with a smile, I do know a quiet place. We can sit down and have a chat. Qin Yutong smiled. That would be for the best, let's go then. Ladies first. Feng Di revealed out a handsome smile. I didn't expect that these three women would be so easily hooked, as expected of King Yan. The three women stood up with confident smiles on their faces, while the two sisters had stupefied looks on their faces. What is this situation? LV Liang hurriedly held on to Feng Di and said with a tender smile, Big Brother, bring us along as well. Scram. Feng Di shouted out coldly. Although the two of you look good, your temperament is too lacking, and you are completely not on the same level as these three women. A man in a suit came to Feng Di and whispered, Big Brother, can you let us play with them? The little brother knew that he definitely wouldn't be able to find a high-quality beauty, but these two women were still not bad. Although their temperament was a bit lacking, their faces and figures were still not bad. It was just that they were a bit coquettish. Feng Di thought for a moment and said, I think you guys should be more careful. Clean up the mess afterward. Yes. Come with me, the man in the suit said to the green and red sisters. LV Tao and Yihong were exulted. As long as we are able to openly follow his honor's sister-in-law and Zishan, it would be great. When the men in the nightclub saw the five beautiful young ladies leaving with the three men, they felt a burst of pity. All the good cabbages were taken by pigs. Feng Di drove the Land Rover and brought Qin Yutong and the other two girls away first, while his two subordinates took a taxi and brought the green and red sisters with them. On the way to the hotel, Yihong appeared to be very restless. Her Zishan had actually willingly gone to get a room with someone else. LV Tao patted on the back of the little brother's hand to comfort him. Being cuckolded is indeed very painful, but as long as one experiences it, one would get used to it. LV Tao sighed. I didn't expect that we brothers would end up being cuckolded. This is the true meaning of life. In the future, this little brother should be able to dye himself green, and constantly remind himself not to forget the matter of being cuckolded. I have to be vigilant towards women, because when you are not paying attention, they will put on you a colored hat. This was also the reason why LV Tao wasn't willing to accept the blood clan sisters for so long. The matter of race did indeed play a part in it, but the matter of being cuckolded was a huge part in it. Everyone arrived downstairs of the gym. Big brother, where are we going? Qing Yutong asked curiously. Meanwhile, Brett and Zishan were already prepared to open the door. Other than his honor, there isn't a single man in this world that is good. In actuality, his honor is also a liar. Feng Di smiled mysteriously. I will bring you guys to a good place. At this moment, the Green and Red sisters got off the car. When Yi Hong saw that his wife was still around, he felt relieved. They didn't directly go to get a room. The few of them went upstairs together. It was already 11 p.m., and the gym was already closed. When everyone arrived at the gym, they were very confused. Little brother, are you bringing us to the gym? Qing Yutong asked curiously. This is truly a weirdo. Other people would always bring someone to a gym to get drunk, and this is the first time I've seen someone bring someone to a gym. Feng Di switched on all the lights and smiled. Do you want to try? The machines here are all international standards. His elder brother, Feng Tian, should be cultivating at this time, so he shouldn't disturb him. Brett said in a deep voice, since it's boring, let's give it a try. Actually, the three women all felt that this Feng Di had some strength, so they wanted to see what he was up to. Perhaps they would encounter something interesting. LV Liang and Yi Hong had the same feeling. This gym was a little weird. LV Liang felt that the syringe in her chest was a little strange. She quietly hid to the side and reached into her chest to take out the syringe. The purest blood was boiling like boiling water. Based on his many years of watching Hong Kong movies, there must be something calling for the purest blood. Suddenly, the pure blood in the syringe calmed down, which made LV Liang a little confused. LV Liang immediately transmitted his voice to his underling. I found something. Yi Hong was a little lost in thought as she looked at Zishan's back, to the point where she didn't even notice that her elder brother was calling for her. Yi Hong. What's the matter, big brother? Yi Hong hurriedly replied. We should have found the right place. If my feeling isn't wrong, this place should be the nest of that group of people. Isn't that Zishan in danger? LV Liang really wanted to knock on his underling's head. Your wife is so powerful. What the hell are you worried about? Yi Hong also realized that she was worrying too much, so she asked, then, what should we do now? Our mission is to deliver the goods to their doorstep. Since we know the location, it will be much easier. We can directly send the goods over another day. But Zishan and the others are here as well. If it really is that group of people, wouldn't they be scared away? At that time, we will have to look for them again. His underling's words caused LV Liang's expression to darken. The mission that originally had some clues became troublesome because of their arrival. What should we do? Yi Hong, it's up to you now. LV Liang said gravely. What do you mean? Get Zishan to cooperate with us. LV Liang already had a script in her mind. Yi Hong immediately became speechless. I just quarreled with my wife, and it's the kind that doesn't speak. It has only been a few days, and I already have to beg my wife. Chapter 503. Seeing that her little brother was not moving, Lulu said in a deep voice. What are you waiting for? Beg for mercy, go back and kneel on the keyboard, and you'll be a man again. Big brother, but I can't say it out loud. Yi Hong's heart was also very complicated. I was so awesome that day. A loud shout was a divorce. He had never been so domineering in his life. It had only been a few days, and now he had to ask his wife to cooperate with him. Wasn't that even more unmanly? LV Liang knew what her little brother was thinking and advised. Yi Hong, don't think about a man's dignity anymore. In front of your wife, just rub your dignity on the ground, and be a bootlicker in the future. Big brother has high hopes for you. Yi Hong was speechless. Speaking of which, it is fine for me to be a bootlicker for my wife, but forget it, I'll just lick it then. Hee. Aren't you willing to have a large number of men to become Zishan's bootlicker? You don't know how lucky you are. After taking a deep breath, Yi Hong sent a voice transmission to Zishan. Zishan. After saying that, Yi Hong waited for the other party's reply. He also observed his wife's every move, but there didn't seem to be any reaction. Honey? Yi Hong called again. Who said you're my wife? Get lost. Zishan coldly replied. Now you know how to beg for forgiveness? That night, weren't you very awesome and domineering? Other than bullying your wife, who else would you bully? Thinking about this, Zishan felt so wrong that she wanted to die. When Yihong heard that her wife had told her to get lost, her heart sank and she didn't say anything more. What's going on? Did he say anything? LV Liang asked curiously. Zishan told me to scram. Yihong muttered. When she heard Zishan telling her to scram, Yihong felt a dull pain in her heart. Is Zishan so disgusted with me now? LV Shu felt that it was time for her to save herself. Little brother is no longer reliable. I can only seek help from his honor's sister-in-law. What should I call her? Madam, Lulu sent a sound transmission to Qin Yutong, and with a flattering tone she said. Qin Yutong, who was not far away, went into a daze. There is actually someone who called me madam. Seems like that person is an acquaintance. Who is it? It's me, LV Liang. So it's Xiao Lu, where is it? Qin Yutong asked curiously. LV Liang was a little embarrassed. Those two women are us. F***K. You two sure have a heavy taste, to actually transform into women to play. Qin Yutong turned her head around and took a look at the green and red sisters, and the corner of her mouth slightly twitched. Dear madam, aren't I carrying out his honor's orders? These people are the people that his honor has been looking for during this period of time. We need to give them the things that we wanted. Oh, so you're here to deliver something for brother-in-law. If there's anything you need help with, just say it. Qin Yutong's mood was very good. This Lu Shu's mouth is rather sweet, calling me madam over and over again, causing Qin Yutong to be endlessly happy. LV Liang explained his idea to Qin Yutong and the other two girls, and hoped that Qin Yutong and the other two girls would slightly cooperate with him. Actually, he wanted to say, don't cause trouble. It's not easy for us brothers to take on a mission, and we don't want it to fail. This is related to my image in his honor's mind. After hearing what Qin Yutong said, Qin Yutong immediately agreed. So there's something more interesting than teaching a stinky man a lesson. Qin Yutong immediately told Brett and Zishan to cooperate with his honor later on. No matter what, Qin Yutong is his honor's sister-in-law. Brett and Zishan will naturally listen to his honor's words. Besides, this is also his honor's mission. They don't want to be taught a lesson by his honor again. Zishan secretly took a look at Yihong, and upon discovering that Yihong didn't continue looking for her, Zishan became very angry. You are clearly the one who did the wrong thing. What's wrong with coaxing you a little? Zishan had somewhat underestimated Yihong's degree of mental fragility. To a person who doesn't have confidence in himself, your slip of the tongue might be able to completely kill him. Just like when Yihong told Zishan to scram just now, Yihong took it seriously. If it was another man, Zishan might have continued to coax Yihong shamelessly. Husband and wife quarreling is like this. There will always be one who is afraid. This isn't ugly. The one who is afraid is the one who is wise. The two of you come over. The suited underling at the side was prepared to pull the green and red sisters over. LV Liang began resisting weakly. What are you two doing? Yihong, who was at the side, was the same as well. She knew that this was a crucial moment, and she couldn't let her guard down. Save me. Feng Di turned his head around and took a look, and didn't take it seriously at all. Meanwhile, Qin Yutong and the other two women revealed expressions of doubt and fear. From the looks of it, all three of them are experts in acting. At the very least, in Feng Di's eyes, their reaction was very normal. What are you two doing? Qin Yutong and the other two women revealed expressions of fear as they leaned against each other. Feng Di laughed lightly. It's nothing. You two don't have to be afraid because in a while it will be your turn. You are a bad person. Brett pointed at Feng Di and scolded. Brett's acting was a little stiff. After all, Brett's acting was not mature enough yet. Feng Di stretched out his hand and lightly stroked the barbell, then said faintly, That's right, I am a bad person, and I am the super bad kind. In actuality, right now the three women really wanted to say, what a coincidence, we are also super bad. Zishan, who was acting as a weak girl, was already shivering in fear. On the other hand, the green and red sisters were still powerlessly struggling at the side. LV Liang's body was a little big. Why is she doing this? Because she wants to squeeze out the syringe from the center of her chest. However, the syringe seems to be stuck. After all, my chest muscles are too big. There's no other way, I can only beat it out. Pa. When LV Liang was struggling, he accidentally hit his own chest, causing Yi Hong to feel a wave of pain. Big brother, that slap of yours is too heavy. However, a white syringe flew out from LV Liang's cleavage, attracting everyone's gaze. Looking at the syringe that fell out from LV Liang's cleavage, the two brothers felt that they had finally completed the task that his honor gave them. The syringe fell onto the ground and lightly rolled on the ground, and the inside of the syringe was completely red. However, this was not the most important thing. The most important thing was that there were still words stuck on the syringe. Purest blood. These words were written on the syringe, as if they were afraid that others wouldn't know about it. The three women also saw it. Aren't you two brothers a bit too sloppy to actually still have words stuck on the syringe? At this moment, Qing Yutong suddenly cried out in surprise. What is this? There are actually words on the syringe. Purest blood? What is this? Zishan said fearfully. I don't know, it should be human blood. Purest blood is definitely pure blood. Brett's words were still as stiff as before. Feng Di tightly wrinkled his brows, then stretched out his palm. The syringe that was on the ground fell onto Feng Di's hand. Looking at the three big words on the syringe, Feng Di's doubt became even deeper. Chapter 504. Even though the green and red sisters had tossed out the purest blood, Feng Di still didn't believe that they were the ones who possessed the purest blood. Perhaps they had obtained it from somewhere else. From this, it could be seen just how terrible of a persona the two brothers had created. Looking at the purest blood in his hand, Feng Di thought that the information might be correct. They were the possessors, not the possessors. But where did they get it from? Who cares? As long as it was pure blood, it would be fine. Watch them, Feng Di said coldly. Yes. More than 10 men in suits walked out from each door and surrounded the 5 women. The 5 women were so scared that they were shivering. However, right now the two brothers could finally breathe out a sigh of relief. We have finally completed the mission given to us by His Honor. Just that, how are we going to get out of this situation perfectly is a problem. Qing Yutong contacted LV Liang and asked, Have you guys completed your mission? Yes, thank you for your cooperation, madam. LV Shu was very grateful. You are too polite. From now on, all of you will cooperate with me. Qing Yutong really wanted to see what that person was going to do with the purest blood. What else could LV Shu say? Of course she agreed. After knowing that Yi Hong had completed his mission, Zishan heaved a sigh of relief. Yi Hong doesn't have to die to atone for his crime. What a fool. On the other side, Feng Di held the labeled purest blood in his hand and knocked on the door. Come in. Feng Tian's deep voice came from inside. Feng Di pushed open the door respectfully and saw his big brother sitting cross-legged. The aura he emitted was getting stronger and stronger. Congratulations, big brother. Feng Tian opened his eyes. The golden pupils under the mask were even more bewitching, sending chills down one's spine. Do you have any leads on the item? Feng Tian stood up and wiped the sweat off his forehead. Feng Di presented the syringe with both hands. Feng Tian saw the 4 words on the syringe, and he was confused. This is the purest blood? Wasn't the packaging a little too sloppy? This was simply a waste of a heavenly treasure. Feng Tian took the syringe and instantly felt the thirst from the blood disc. The blood in the syringe started to boil, and seeing this reaction, Feng Di revealed a look of shock. Who would have thought that this was truly pure blood? After putting away the syringe, Feng Tian asked, How did you get it? Big brother, if I said that it fell out of a beautiful woman's chest, would you believe me? Feng Tian's eyes turned cold and Feng Di immediately told him what had happened. I'll go out and take a look. You go and arrange the ceremony. There can't be any mistakes. Yes. Feng Tian's expression was solemn, as if he wasn't happy about the birth of the blood demon. He slowly walked towards the hall of the gym. When he saw the green and red color in Feng Di's mouth, Feng Tian had a thought. How could such a woman have pure blood? Wasn't this nonsense? As for the other three, they looked like them. However, these 5 women were quite good-looking. He could play with them after the matter was settled. Take them away. Feng Tian shouted coldly. Yes. The 5 delicate girls were mercilessly kidnapped by the bad guys, and the 2 brothers only wanted to go back and report on their mission, while Qin Yutong only wanted to see what they were going to do, and Brett only wanted to kill all of the men in front of him. Zishan only wanted Yihong to go home and kneel on the keyboard. After that, Zishan would tell Yihong that he was wrong, and that he would never dare to do it again. These people probably didn't know that their captives were happily discussing what was about to happen. At the northern suburbs of Long'an City, there was an abandoned factory. Weeds were already growing all over the place, and the broken chimney seemed like it was going to collapse at any moment. From time to time, the sound of water droplets would ring out, and the sound of water droplets would ring out. And in the depths of the factory, 10 black-clothed men could be seen sitting cross-legged, and Feng Di was among them. At the center of the black-clothed men was a huge and strange rune that was flickering with a faint blood-red light. And Qin Yutong and the other 4 were tied up by a thick and big rope not far away from them. I feel like they are summoning something, Brett said indifferently, appearing to be very relaxed. Are they summoning Ultraman? Qin Yutong asked curiously. LV Lu said gravely. They might be summoning Godzilla. Yihong and Zishan didn't speak. They were still in the midst of quarreling. After all, they wouldn't pay attention to each other when quarreling. Suddenly, those black-clothed men began to mutter something, the kind that sounded pretty good, as if they were purging something. The formation began to emit a strange aura. Brett wrinkled his brows, then laughed lightly and said, Seems like it isn't that simple of a summon? Brett, what do you mean by this? Qin Yutong asked curiously. Brett had a lot of battle experience, and he was very familiar with the aura emitted by the formation. Summoning the thing that is sealed would definitely require a buff formation. And this formation is the opposite, it is a weakening formation. Brett explained. Qin Yutong immediately understood, then looked at the black-clothed men that were not far away from them. Are they planning to get rid of the thing that was summoned? Even if they aren't planning to get rid of the thing, they have other intentions, Brett said faintly. Hearing what Brett said, the 5 black-clothed men immediately became interested. Qin Yutong pursed her lips. It doesn't seem good to be watching a show without any melon seeds to drink, right? What you said makes sense. Right now, Brett was a bit led astray by Qin Yutong. Xiaolu, go and buy it. Remember to buy a few packets of spicy gluten. Qin Yutong instructed. The corner of LV Lu's mouth twitched. That's not good, right? We are all tied up. I will send you a mirror image. Go and return quickly, Brett said faintly. As an elf, he knew a lot of simple magic, but he didn't know as much as his honor. What else could LV Luliang do? We are just lacking a small bench. Right when LV Luliang left, Feng Tian, who was sitting cross-legged at the center, finally moved. A blood plate could be seen on his right hand, and a needle tube could be seen on his left hand. When the 2 items appeared at the same time, the red glow on the blood plate immediately increased greatly, and the needle tube immediately broke apart. However, the pure blood did not fall onto the ground, and instead it floated in the air, as if it was a living thing. Feng Tian placed the blood plate at the center of the blood plate, then bent his body and took a few steps back. A stream of spiritual energy shot into the blood plate from his finger, and a vicious aura immediately soared into the sky, and the pure blood began trembling, as if it was frightened to the point that it was unable to move. Kucha! The blood plate immediately opened outwards, and it seemed as if some kind of treasure was going to appear from within. However, there wasn't any treasure at all. After the blood plate opened up, the inside of the blood plate was completely red, as if it was an ocean of blood. Pooh! Suddenly, a head that was formed from blood broke out from the blood plate, and pounced towards the pure blood along with a chilly wind. Soon after, the head swallowed the pure blood that was frightened to the point that it didn't dare to move. The gigantic blood head seemed as if it had eaten the most delicious food in the world, and it actually let out a satisfied gasp. Then after a short while, the blood head shrunk back into the blood plate. At this time, LV Luliang rushed back while carrying a red plastic bag. Melon seeds, peanuts, and all sorts of other things were not missing. Chapter 505. Qin Yutong tore open the spicy strip and said with a smile, "No, I just got one." "That's good." LV Shu tied herself up again and stared at the scene that was filled with a strange aura. So oppressive. It is indeed very oppressive, especially when she saw the snacks in the red plastic bag at the side. It became even more oppressive. Puff. The blood plate suddenly emitted out a layer of dense blood mist, but there wasn't a lot of blood mist. Moreover, after the blood mist appeared, cracks appeared on the surface of the blood plate, and soon after, the blood plate shattered, and the crisp body of the blood plate was just like a potato chip that Qin Yutong had bitten off. Crunch, crunch. The four turned their heads and looked at Qin Yutong, who was currently eating chips. Qin Yutong smiled awkwardly. "It is already midnight. It is normal to be a little hungry." "Yutong, the atmosphere has been ruined by you," Brett said in a low voice. Qin Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes. "Ruined atmosphere?" LV Shu held onto her chin and muttered. "If those people were to hear this, I really don't know what kind of reaction they would have." "Sisters, let's eat while watching. This Wangzai milk is mine." Qin Yutong immediately took away the Wangzai milk. Brett said faintly, "I will take the Nutrition Express then." The atmosphere was a little strange. Brett was completely unaware of it. He opened the bottle cap and took a small sip, and an unknown white liquid could be seen on the corner of his mouth. Look, look, that blood mist has turned into Ultraman." Qin Yutong hurriedly cried out in surprise. At the scene, that blood mist could be seen gradually forming into a human shape. And not long later, a handsome man appeared. He had a high nose bridge, a face that seemed as if it was carved by a knife, and his melancholy gaze was simply a lady killer. He was wearing a blood-red robe that had black patterns on it, and his white hair was scattered behind his back, slowly fluttering in the wind. "So handsome," Qin Yutong said. Brett nodded his head. Zishan also followed up and said, "He is indeed very handsome." Yihong almost felt like he was going to bleed. So it turns out that Zishan likes handsome men. This point can't be changed no matter what. LV Shu patted on her little brother's shoulder. "You will never be that handsome in this lifetime. He looks like a cosplay big brother." He even added cosmetic contact lenses, beautifying and filtering functions. Qin Yutong smiled. "Big sister, he's a blood demon who's going to bring disaster to the world. He's not some little big brother, and he doesn't even know how to wear contact lenses. Can't he be a qualified captive?" Seeing the birth of the blood demon, Feng Tian was extremely emotional. He immediately knelt down and kowtowed. "Long live the blood demon." Blood demon was silent for a moment. His whole body was covered in a haze. He closed his eyes and took a deep breath. This is the feeling of being reborn. Ha ha ha. Feeling the power in his hand, the blood demon looked up at the sky and flicked his index finger. A red speck of light floated towards the huge chimney. When it came into contact with it, the chimney seemed to be corroded. It decreased at a speed visible to the naked eye and then disappeared. "All hail the blood demon!" Feng Tian and the others shouted in unison. Qin Yutong, who was drinking Wangzai milk, said faintly, "Praising a chimney and you call it mighty? This mighty thing is really worthless." Everyone couldn't help but nod. This destructive power was too weak. The blood demon put his hands into his sleeves and looked at the man lying on the ground. He said in a cold voice, "Is this a greeting gift?" Feng Tian, who had his head lowered, was shocked. He didn't expect to be discovered. As expected of the blood demon, even after breaking the seal, he is still so powerful. He immediately gestured to Feng Di, and the magic formation under the blood demon's feet was activated. Instantly, the red light intensified and Feng Tian, who was lying on the ground, slowly stood up. His black and gold eyes stared at the blood demon in front of him. The blood demon slightly narrowed his eyes and felt the might emitted by the formation. The corner of his mouth curled up slightly. "No matter what, I still have to thank you for releasing me. Blood demon, submit to me. I can lead you to conquer this world." Feng Tian clenched his fists tightly and stared at the blood demon as he spoke boldly. The blood demon laughed lightly and slowly spat out. Ignorant human, I, the blood demon, have never lowered my head to anyone or anything. If you kneel down and submit to me now, I will spare your life on the account that you released me. It seems like we both want to be the boss. Golden radiance suddenly condensed on Feng Tian's hands. Looking at it from afar, it looked like golden gloves. Looking at the weapon that Feng Tian released, the blood demon said faintly, I didn't expect an ordinary human like you to have an immature ancient godly item. It is enough to deal with you now. The blood demon's lips curled into a cold smile. It took me a lot of effort to break the seal. However, you know nothing about my strength. Boom. As soon as the blood demon finished his words, a majestic bloody aura gushed out from the blood demon's robe. Like raging waves, it swallowed the surrounding men in suits instantly. The bloody aura wrapped around the blood demon's body like jelly. After a long time, it crawled back into the blood demon's robe. The surrounding men in suits all bled from their 7 apertures and died. Only Feng Di still had a trace of aura. Seeing that his subordinate had died, Feng Tian did not stop him. Instead, he said faintly, as expected of the blood demon, even after breaking the seal, he is still so powerful. Of course. Otherwise, how could he have been sealed? What a pity. Feng Tian let out a long sigh and his golden eyes became even deeper. The blood demon was confused. What's a pity? It's a pity that I want to tell you what you know about my strength. You know nothing about it. Ha 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 ha. Hearing that, the blood demon laughed wildly. It was as if he was laughing at the ants in front of him who didn't know the immensity of heaven and earth. Qing Yutong, who was peeling peanuts, pouted her mouth. These two sure know how to boast. That's right, look at how low profile I am. LV Liang laughed and squeezed out a piece of tofu skin. Brett snorted coldly. 2 insignificant ants are just boasting to each other. Qing Yutong squeezed out a piece of gluten and bit into it. Don't talk about me like that, at the very least, I am still very powerful, alright? A fight between elementary school students. Zishan said. Yihong really wanted to refute, for example, ask elementary school students to fight like this, but he didn't dare to refute his wife. It was fortunate that the blood demon and Feng Tian didn't hear the conversation between the women. If not, they would definitely join hands to deal with Qing Yutong first. However, it seems like I won't be able to win against them either. A blood sword appeared in the hands of the blood demon. The entire sword looked as if it was flowing with blood. The blood demon raised his hand and lightly caressed the body of the sword, then said faintly, This sword was forged using the blood of my clansmen. Although it cannot compare to a prehistoric godly item, it can still be considered to be a second-grade prehistoric godly item. Humph. The sword in my hands is the golden light glove, but if I add your blood and qi into it, it will become a true prehistoric godly item. Feng Tian stretched out both of his fists, and a terrifying aura was emitted out from the golden light glove, which actually condensed into a golden light and attacked towards the blood demon. Chapter 506. The golden light and the red light collided. Boom. The collision created a huge shockwave that swept across the area. The abandoned factory that was on the verge of collapse collapsed instantly. Dust flew everywhere. Qing Yutong and the others had no choice but to leave. They didn't want their clothes to be dirted. The 5 of them sat in the air and looked down. It felt good. The angle was just right. Luckily, they were in the suburbs and it was an abandoned place. So they didn't cause any commotion. When the dust was blown away by the wind, Feng Tian and Blood Demon were standing in the ruins. Their bodies were glowing and they were easy to recognize. Blood Demon, submit to me and offer your blood qi. You can have anything you want. Feng Tian wanted to use another method to obtain Blood Demon's blood qi. He didn't expect Blood Demon to be so powerful. His plan was wrong. Blood Demon waved the blood sword in his hand and said calmly, I want your life now. Seems like there is no way to negotiate. That's right. Feng Tian took a deep breath and shouted. Spiritual energy erupted from his body. The broken stones on the ground floated up, and the ground started to tremble. This was just the aura he released. Blood Demon didn't want to be outdone. His body shook. Blood chi was released from his body. It was filled with ghostly wails and wolf howls, making people feel pressured. Actually, Feng Tian's guess was right. This wasn't Blood Demon's true strength. After being sealed for so long, he was already very weak. It would take a long time for him to recover. Now he was just forcefully holding on. Although he was forcefully holding on, he could still fight against Feng Tian. This showed how powerful he was when he wasn't sealed. Unfortunately, he was sealed before he could harm the world. Feng Tian roared in anger as he punched out with his golden fist. His speed was extremely fast as a wave of qi swept across the area, shaking the heavens and the earth. This was just a simple punch, but it was able to create such a strong pressure. It was all because of the golden light set in his hand. Blood Demon's eyes narrowed. His body was weak now. Escaping was the best option. However, this was his first battle. How could he escape? A strong cultivator naturally had his own pride. Even if he knew he was going to die, he would still fight to the end. He placed the blood sword in front of his chest. The dazzling golden fist immediately smashed onto the blood sword, producing a dazzling circular vibration wave. It was a beautiful sight. The Blood Demon actually took a step back, his right foot sinking deep into the ground. Ba Divine Fist. A terrifying aura appeared on Feng Tian's right hand. He didn't expect it to be so easy to get close to him. This Blood Demon was really arrogant. The dazzling golden light illuminated the entire sky and blasted towards the Blood Demon with a destructive force. The Blood Demon furrowed his brows and once again placed the blood sword in front of his chest. Boom! Suddenly, the Blood Demon's body slid back more than 10 meters, leaving a deep groove in the ground. It was truly terrifying. Blood Demon, if you submit to me now, you still have a chance to live. Feng Tian twisted his shoulders, and his hands opened and closed. Golden light flourished, and the more he fought, the more imposing he became. Really? Feng Tian's eyes widened because the voice came from behind him. He didn't have time to think and immediately pulled away. Instantly, he felt a sharp pain on his shoulder. The blood sword was like a baby, greedily sucking the blood. The Blood Demon looked at Feng Tian, who was pulling away. I told you. You don't know my strength at all. Even though I'm weak right now, you're still not my match. Feng Tian looked at the wound on his arm. He didn't expect the Blood Demon to be so fast. How infuriating. Feng Tian had the advantage of weapons, but the Blood Demon wasn't someone to be trifled with. This was a man who said that he would bring disaster to the world. If he didn't have some skills, he wouldn't dare to say such arrogant words. Blood Demon, don't force me. Feng Tian shouted in a deep voice. So what if I force you? Feng Tian's expression changed drastically. The Blood Demon was clearly in front of him, but the voice came from behind him. He didn't have time to think and dodged hurriedly. Instantly, he felt a sharp pain on his thigh. The Blood Demon stuck out his scarlet tongue and licked the blood on his sword. I will stab you to death, one stab at a time. Feng Tian panted heavily. This Blood Demon was indeed powerful. As expected of a sealed character. He had thought too little of him. Blood Demon, I will give you another chance. If you submit to me now, you might still have a chance to live. Feng Tian shouted in a deep voice, and his golden eyes started to spin. Human, your shameless words will cause you to die a painful death. Feng Tian heaved a sigh of relief and the golden light set in his hand disappeared. The Blood Demon chuckled when he saw Feng Tian's actions. Why? Not fighting anymore? Feng Tian stared at the Blood Demon and removed his mask with his right hand. No. I have already given you a chance. You didn't cherish it. The mask fell to the ground slowly. The left side of Feng Tian's face wasn't skin at all. Instead, it was golden like his eyes. It was very textured, as if his face was coated with a layer of gold oil. However, the Blood Demon didn't find it funny, because he couldn't see through Feng Tian the moment he removed his mask. This caused the Blood Demon's heart to sink. After removing his mask, Feng Tian didn't move at all. This caused the Blood Demon to feel a sense of pressure. He who attacked first had the upper hand. The Blood Demon used his insane speed again, and instantly appeared behind Feng Tian. He swung his sword. However, The blood demon's eyes widened in disbelief as he watched his opponent grab his blood sword. How was this possible? While Blood Demon was distracted for a moment, a fist came at him with an ear-piercing sound. The speed was so fast that even Blood Demon could not react in time. His left cheek caught the other party's fist, and his body was sent flying like a cannonball, crashing into the ruins. Qing Yutong, who was eating melon seeds in the air, had a dumbfounded look on her face. What's going on? He suddenly rose to power? He was beaten up badly just now. Zishan said in a deep voice. He should have used some kind of secret technique. It's not a secret technique. It's just that his mask is suppressing his own power. However, from the looks of it now, it's as though he's a completely different person. Maybe he's a completely different person before and after the mask, Brett speculated. He had seen this phenomenon before. Elvie Liang drank her Pepsi and mumbled. That blood demon is going to be in big trouble. It had to be said that the blood demon was indeed very unlucky. Back then, he had vowed to bring disaster to the common people. In the end, he was sealed by a group of people before he could even step out of his house. So many years had passed, and he had just come out when he met someone with ulterior motives. Moreover, his strength was so strong. In actuality, the blood demon shouldn't be called the blood demon, he should be called the misfortune demon. Feng Tian, who was in the middle of the battlefield, suddenly let out an eerie laughter. Useless fellow. You still want me to come and help you, trash? After saying that, he shot out and dived into the ruins. Chapter 507. A series of maniacal laughter reverberated in the ruins. Feng Tian's body was like a ghost as he appeared above Blood Demon's head. Feng Tian clasped his hands together and raised them high. Then he ruthlessly struck the Blood Demon's head. Boom! A shockwave spread out in the sky and Blood Demon's body fell again, creating a huge crater in the ground. However, Feng Tian did not notice the 5 women in the sky. The Blood Demon in the pit slowly stood up. Before he could react, a black shadow appeared in front of him. Feng Tian ruthlessly punched Blood Demon's abdomen. Blood Demon's entire body bent as he endured the tremendous force. This was an unreasonable and violent attack. There was no strange cultivation technique, only the power of his fists, which made it impossible to fight back. Coupled with that strange speed, it was simply impossible to defend against. If it was the Blood Demon at full strength, then there was still a chance to fight back. Unfortunately, this was the weakened version of the Blood Demon, so it could not fight back at all. Even the blood sword fell to the ground. Feng Tian grabbed Blood Demon's neck with his left hand and lifted him up. At this moment, Blood Demon's face was already swollen. His handsome appearance was gone forever. Bang! His right fist landed on the Blood Demon's abdomen once again, and the ground beneath Feng Tian's feet cracked from the impact. Bang! Another punch landed on the Blood Demon's abdomen. The Blood Demon's body was getting softer and softer, and his aura was getting weaker and weaker. A few more punches would probably kill him. This Feng Tian was truly terrifying. His strength was unimaginable. If Yi Zizi knew that such a person existed, she would definitely challenge him. After all, Yi Zizi was the representative of strength. Even Yi Hua, who was his honor, was weaker than Yi Zizi in terms of strength. Trash, you can't even deal with such trash. After saying that, he punched Blood Demon again. Blood Demon was already on the verge of death, but he still had a breath of life left. If he punched again, he would die. Feng Tian ruthlessly threw Blood Devil to the ground and stepped on his chest. Blood Devil's chest caved in. It was too cruel. Blood Demon didn't even have the strength to speak now. His eyes were red and swollen from the beating, and he looked at the terrifying man in front of him with horror. He was the famous Blood Demon. Inhumane Blood Demon. But today he was actually beaten to such a state by a person. Back then, those deities could only seal me up. Feng Tian lowered his head and looked at Blood Demon, and his golden eyes began spinning crazily. The Blood Devil was startled, and began to struggle helplessly. What kind of move was this? Why did it feel like the blood qi in its body was surging, as if it was about to break out of its body? After that, the golden eyes grew brighter and brighter. The blood chi in the blood demon's body was actually forcibly pulled out, and a huge amount of blood chi was absorbed by the golden eyes. The blood demon let out a mournful howl. This pain was no less than having his bones pulled out. Feng Tian's golden eyes were gradually dyed red, forming a pair of pupils that was half red and half gold. It was extremely strange. Blood demons Feng demon of blood Tian of Feng blood demons blood of the cries of pain continued, and the 5 women who were watching the show from the air were a little surprised. This blood demon is too pitiful, right? LV Liang hurriedly ate a spicy strip to calm herself down. Qing Yutong drank a mouthful of Wangzi milk. That's right, it's so miserable. Zishan suddenly took a glance at Yihong, and a golden light flashed past her beautiful eyes. Yihong was so frightened that he hurriedly looked elsewhere. My wife is too terrifying, this is a living warning to me, Brett said indifferently. After this man absorbed the blood demon, his strength increased greatly. How strong is it? Qing Yutong asked curiously. Brett stretched out his index finger, pressed his fingernail, and said, "It might be that strong." Everyone smiled helplessly. Others can't even compare to your fingernails. Stop bragging. After a long while, Feng Tian finally stopped. Although Blood Demon was still alive, he wanted to die right now. Feng Tian picked up the mask on the ground and put it on. His body trembled, and he seemed to have changed again. Slowly walking to Gorfine's side, Feng Tian faintly said, "I've already told you. Submit to me and you'll still have a chance to live. You won't listen." The blood demon glared at Feng Tian, as if saying, "Even if I die, I won't let you off. However, I still have to thank you for your blood chi. It was able to help me refine the desolate era's godly item. Also, I will accept your sword as well. You can just slowly wait for your death here." After finished speaking, Feng Tian walked into the ruins and carried Feng Di out. After that, he searched for the 5 women, but they were actually nowhere to be seen. I reckon that they were squashed to death. What a pity. After Feng Tian left, he left behind the blood demon who was on the verge of death. "Brett, did you use the GPS?" Qing Yutong warned. "The blood demon is a hidden danger. I have to know the location of the blood demon." Brett said calmly, "Don't worry." Qing Yutong was at ease. Since brother-in-law likes to act cool so much, when the time comes, I will let brother-in-law beat him up until he is unable to take care of himself. We have finished eating our snacks. Let's go down and take a look at the blood demon. In any case, brother-in-law still wants to see him. Qing Yutong let out a light sigh. This was what she found out from the 2 brothers. Brother-in-law intentionally released the blood demon because he wanted to see how the blood demon would bring harm to the common people. But right now, not to mention bringing harm to the common people, the blood demon can't even take care of himself. The 5 women landed beside the blood demon, and when the blood demon sensed that more people had arrived, he slightly opened his eyes and saw that it was actually 5 women. When I look at him from such a close distance, he really looks miserable. His face is already swollen like this. And to think that I said that he was a handsome guy earlier. Qing Yutong squatted down and sized up the blood demon. The others squatted down as well, looking at the blood demon as if they were looking at a rare animal. This caused the blood demon to almost collapse. LV Liang lightly nodded her head. That's right, he was so formidable when he came out from the beginning. Especially that sentence, "You don't know anything about my strength," Brett said slowly. Qing Yutong let out a breath of relief. Look at him now, he got slapped in the face by others, right? Stop talking, the blood demon is coughing out blood. Zishan cried out in surprise. He coughed out a lot of blood. Right now, the blood demon felt even more despair than death. Their words were like sharp blades that pierced into his chest. Thinking back to how he was just now, he truly felt so humiliated. I actually said those words, and then I got beaten up by others. Qing Yutong persuaded. Blood demon, don't be like this. How can a person not get beaten up in the underworld? This is normal. I was also beaten up by brother-in-law before. The scene immediately quietened down, and Qing Yutong's small face reddened. Don't misunderstand, he only hit the back of my hand, not my butt. Everyone. LV Liang asked in distress. The blood demon is already beaten up to such a state. What should we do? Should we still bring him back? That's right, if we were to bring him back, brother-in-law would be scared. Qin Yutong nodded her head. How about we just bury him? He is quite pitiful. Zishan said unhurriedly. Yihong's entire body immediately went numb. Chapter 508. LV Liang can't make the decision. What if his honor has other motives? Yihua immediately contacted Uncle Wei to see what Uncle Wei's decision would be. Right now, Wei Chang was currently sleeping while hugging onto Xiao Tang. Of course, it was the normal kind of hug. Hearing that LV Liang had already completed the mission and even captured the blood demon, Wei Chang immediately woke up. His honor wants to see this blood demon and see how he brings disaster to the common people. Without much time to think, Wei Chang hurriedly contacted his honor. Meanwhile, Yihua was also sleeping soundly while hugging onto Qinya. Tonight, I asked Qinya a few times, and even my wife fell asleep. I heard from Wei Chang that LV Liang captured the blood demon. This doesn't seem right. My request is to release the blood demon and not to capture it. However, since the blood demon is already captured, what else can I say? I should go and take a look first. After leaving behind a mirror image, Yihua arrived at Leisure Bar. Meanwhile, Qin Yutong and the others were too embarrassed to continue burying the blood demon, so they decided to let brother-in-law take a look first. The news of capturing the blood demon spread out very quickly, and even Lai Gu and Zhu Tian came over to take a look at the blood demon that brought disaster to the common people. Even Death Mage and Sun Fang came over to take a look. However, when everyone saw the blood demon, they felt that, is this really the blood demon that brought disaster to the common people? Why was he beaten up so miserably? Yihua didn't dare to believe that the person who was beaten up so badly was the blood demon. Wasn't he known to bring disaster to the common people? Why was he beaten up like this? Are you guys sure that this is the blood demon? Yihua lowered his head and asked gravely. LV Liang said respectfully, Your Honor, this is the blood demon. In the beginning, his image was still pretty good, but because he was acting cool, he ended up being beaten up like this. Lai Gu felt sad just by looking at the blood demon. Even his breastbone was stepped on, so pitiful. Zhu Tian secretly took a look at Brett, then continued to observe the blood demon, not knowing what he was thinking. I thought that this blood demon was a person that brought disaster to the common people, but in the end, I am truly disappointed. Yihua shook his head. He was a bit disappointed. Brother-in-law, quickly look, the blood demon is vomiting blood again. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise. The blood demon could be seen vomiting blood nonstop. Just now he had been pretending to be unconscious, but when he heard those people's words, his heart felt pain. This is even more painful than being beaten up. A blood demon is inhumane. I am a person that brings disaster to the common people. This was the first time he was sealed before he even stepped out of his house. The second time he came out of the seal, he was even beaten up. This was only the physical pain, but what happened next was like a sharp blade with blood stabbing into his heart. None of them were human. The blood demon was really pitiful. He didn't even use any moves and was beaten to the ground. On one hand, he had underestimated his opponent. On the other hand, Feng Tian was too strong. What a useless blood demon. You've been beaten to such a state, yet you still want to dirty my reputation. Yihua said coldly. With a light wave of his right hand, a green halo of light enveloped the blood demon, and the blood demon's external injuries started healing at a speed that was visible to the naked eye. Even the blood demon's sunken ribs started expanding. Tell me, how did he get beaten up like this? Yihua asked faintly. Why didn't Yihua kill the blood demon? Because there was a very good explanation for Yihua not killing the blood demon, and that was because Yihua himself was also a member of the blood demon race. Yihua wouldn't kill the blood demon recklessly, because Yihua himself was also a member of the blood demon race. In the past, Yihua even had the thought that the blood demon should unite and attack the humans. Unfortunately, his wish wasn't realized. LV Liang told Yihua about what happened. After listening to what happened, Yihua went into a slight daze. This blood demon was actually tricked by a human. This is truly a pleasant surprise. Furthermore, the human that LV Liang talked about seems to be very valiant. To be able to beat the blood demon to such a state with just his physical body, this is a bit formidable. Where is that person? Yihua took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up, then asked faintly. Brett said respectfully, "Your Honor, please be at ease, I have already locked onto his aura." Hearing Brett's words, Zhu Tian slightly looked over. Seeing that a layer of frost had appeared on Brett's beautiful face, Zhu Tian didn't say anything. "Very good, Brett. Keep a close eye on him first. See what exactly he is planning to do." "Yes." Brett knelt down and accepted the order. Everyone looked at the blood demon on the ground. He was actually pretending to be unconscious. Is he really a blood demon? Did he make a mistake? The blood demon thought that no one would be able to tell that he was pretending to be unconscious. However, that was a technique cast by a supreme overlord. No matter how heavy his injuries were, he would be able to recover. It wasn't that the blood demon didn't want to get up, but rather, it was truly too embarrassing. Furthermore, I feel that the group of people around me seems to be very formidable. I am a person who is going to bring calamity to the world. I am a lone wolf. How can I possibly team up with humans? Lai Gu kicked the blood demon on the ground, still pretending get up. The blood demon remained unmoved. "I will get up just because you want me to get up? I, the blood demon, am, Lai Gu stepped onto the blood demon's finger, causing the blood demon to let out a miserable cry and immediately sat up. This group of people is simply shameless. To actually use the method of stepping on someone's finger to wake someone up, so impolite. The blood demon took a look at the surroundings. Just now, I wasn't able to see the faces of those 5 women clearly. Now that I have a clear look at their faces, I can't help but exclaim in admiration. However, now isn't the time to exclaim in admiration. Those 5 men don't seem to be people that I can afford to offend." "You are the blood demon?" Yihua asked faintly. The blood demon's brows wrinkled. The voice came from behind him. He turned around and looked towards Yihua. "This man actually looks even better than me. How is this possible?" "That's right, I am the blood demon." Wei Chang shouted out coldly, "Audacious! Why aren't you saluting when you see his honor?" The blood demon's gaze became grave. "You are an overlord? Or are you one of those ancient deities?" Hearing that, Yihua suddenly laughed out loudly. Wei Chang, Lai Gu, and the others also revealed a smile on their faces. This is mocking the blood demon for being ignorant. To actually compare those low-class people with the great overlord. The ancient deities were much more high-class than ordinary deities. Take Heaven's Mansion for example. The ancient deities were just like a group of people that lived in the capital. An overlord belonged to the higher-ups of the ancient deities. As for deities like Heaven's Mansion, they might only live in a remote small city. Meanwhile, the blood demon directly mistook Yihua as an overlord or one of those ancient deities, causing Yihua to feel that it was funny. "Why aren't you kneeling down?" Brett shouted out coldly and immediately let out a strong pressure. Right now, how could the blood demon, who did not have any strength, be able to withstand Brett's anger? The blood demon directly kneeled down in front of Yihua, and was unable to even stand up. Yihua kept away the smile on his face, then lowered his head and said, "Overlord? Ancient deities? They are all trash. The reason why they are still alive is because I, the Supreme Overlord, didn't touch them." Beads of sweat appeared on the blood demon who was kneeling on the ground as he asked, "Just who are you?" "Impudent. To actually not use honorifics when facing an overlord." Brett shouted out again, and the pressure that he released increased once again, causing the floor that was beneath the blood demon's knees to crack. Although the blood demon had lost his strength, the body of the blood demon was still very tough. You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.